welcome to another exciting episode of Way of the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka the Name Butcher, aka Hey You, Get Off My Lawn. Way of the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and everything under the sun. We usually delve into a lot of painting talk, as well as a lot of what's under the sun, meaning no topics are barred. We'll talk about anything and everything. So, first-time viewer, be warned. If you're a first-time viewer, you can ask your questions over in the chat, whichever direction it might be in for you. And, of course, you can also ask your questions to Kris at wayofthebrush.com. It's in the description below, as well as a link to wayofthebrush.com. Central hub of all the silliness has all the links to all the social medias, links to this show, and, everything. So, has links for t-shirts. Want to help support the cause? Look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world. They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. Also, on Way of the Brush, if you've purchased yourself a shirt, be sure to send a picture of yourself in your shirt, and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine, which is also on wayofthebrush.com, because, this show is all about you guys, helping you guys, answering your questions, and, just getting the most out of this hobby that we can, that we all know and love. And so, spreading the happiness, as it were. Also at wayofthebrush.com has links for Patreon. Patreon, it's like above or something like that. It's somewhere on the page. Patreon support. I'm independent now, so I am solely relying on Patreon support. And so far, everything has been fantastic. You guys have been great. Hopefully everybody's been enjoying Fresh Tips. That is the series that I've been creating, as well as some other stuff. I also did another video yesterday. I released another video for everybody, and it was something a little bit different. So check it out if you're into something a little bit different other than wargaming kind of style type of stuff. Also, too, with the Patreon, many tiers, different levels of support. Some... At certain level, everybody gets access to the videos early. So as soon as I create them, I post them, and everybody gets access to them. So it's usually about a week, maybe more. It all depends. But early access for patrons, as well as other things will be coming for patrons. Number one being dice and limited edition shirts. So for everybody who supports at higher tiers, those are going to be freebies. Dice, they'll be available soon enough. Probably a couple more weeks, I think. It was a while. Put that order in, and they said like 9 weeks. And I was like, holy carmoly. But that was like 4 weeks ago, I think. So still like another little bit of time left to go here, I suppose, on the whole dice situation. But they're coming. Patrons, you already know what the dice are going to look like, so yeah. Something fun, something fun. And the shirts, well, I haven't actually gotten the shirts ready yet. Just been busy with other stuff, so just, it hasn't quite. Basically, I'll be making the shirts myself. So, yeah. But anyway, so Patreon support, huge thank you. Again, like I said, I'm solely relying on Patreon support. So if you guys want to help support these videos and make them happen, become a patron. Of course, if you're not able to be a patron, not able to support monetarily, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing this video all help as well. It only takes a couple clicks of the buttons. This is a couple clicks, but apparently, by the way. It only takes a couple clicks, and it helps me out a great deal, so that also helps as well. And, of course, a huge thank you to Carl, a.k.a. Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out, Beer and Blood Bowl. If you love yourself some beer and you love yourself some Blood Bowl, Beer and Blood Bowl is where it's at. We always say thank you to Carl for taking the time out of his busy day to create the email jingles that play before the email segments of the show. So, always much love. Me love Carl long time. Long time. Who's joining us? I can see Dr. Xantos, Kevin Cabal, Derek, Derek. Anyway, over on Twitch, welcome. And of course, I am streaming this both on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So I do see both Twitch and YouTube comments. So feel free to jump on whatever platform you prefer. Yeah. Dr. Xantos, time to grab some paints, rum and cola, and paint some minis. Rum and cola? Yeah, you like rum and cola? Rum and Coke? It said rum, but I'm going to assume rum. Maybe it is rum. In which case, you're drinking something I'm not familiar with. Some rum. Random. It's not RAM. Random access memory. I can't remember what rum was. Rum. Random operating memory? Anyway. Aaron Siege, good morning, Kris and my monkey brethren. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. It is a good day to paint. As I said that, I was thinking, it's like Geronimo, right? It's a good day to die. It's a good day to paint. Or say it like the Klingons. It's a good day to paint. It's a good day to paint. Dark Commission. Hi, Kris Monkey Folk. Hello, Kenneth. Sir Peanut Butter. Divine Eric. Looks like most of the chat is on YouTube. Either one. I see both. Some people prefer Twitch. Some people prefer YouTube. I like to accommodate. I am planning on doing more Twitch streams. I just haven't gotten into, the rhythm of working on other stuff. I've just been busy with a lot of other things right now. And, of course, read-only memory. Thank you, Peter. Read-only memory. That's it. Come on, what kind of nerd am I, right? Dark Commission. Read-only memory. I know. Thank you. And now everybody's shouting at me. It's read-only memory, you idiot. God, what kind of nerd are you, man? Nerd. Kenneth, has anyone in the U.S. tried to order the new Bandai Space Marine 8-inch action figure? It doesn't seem to work for me. No, I'm kind of fucked off about that, too. I'm seriously fucked off. Because I've been talking about this goddamn thing for ages. And, yeah, I just went to... I'm on the U.S. site. I don't see it. I see the Warhammer community thing for it. Can I pull up the webpage? Here, let's go. That's a little too much. That? Yeah. And I can scroll through the website. I don't see Space Marine. I see the Warhammer community thing, but that's not links for the actual sale. I think that's kind of bullshit. And then I click on, let's go to Canada English, because I don't know Francais. Well, not well. I go over to the Canadian site, and again, I'm kind of fucked off about it. Like what the F? Like, come on. You build up hype about this, and then, okay, well, maybe it's new exclusive. Maybe I got to click the link for new exclusive. Nope, not there either. I was looking at cases and possibly a Realm of Battle. If anybody who wants to know what I'm looking at on the GW site. Yeah, I'm seriously kind of pissed off because today's supposed to be pre-order day. Apparently, other people I've seen on Twitter, apparently other people have been purchasing it. But I don't get access to it. Like, I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I don't know, maybe am I being excluded? I'm sure I'm not being excluded, but that's kind of BS that, I mean, like, I don't understand what the problem is. Like, why was it made available for other countries and not North America? Because North America, I assume North America is a big part of Games Workshop's business. I would assume. It's a lot of money in North America. But, I don't know. Either way. Hi guys. Hi. Kenneth, Lehman Russ Tank. You working on Lehman Russ Tank? Cool. G Plasma, there he is. Lazy Monkey over on Twitch. Hey, Monkey Man, tell me a bedtime story. Yeah, so that was the video I was alluding to that I released yesterday. It was a bedtime story. It was something that was bubbling on my brain for a while. And, it was something I've wanted to do. People have asked me about doing, kind of an audio-only type of experience. And so I was like, oh, what could I do that was audio only that wasn't going to get me, into trouble with anybody's IP or anything like that? Because I'm sure it'd be fun to read something from the Black Library. But that's all copyrighted. That they have their own department for all of that. And so, excuse me, no big deal. So I found, well, why not some, older books that, just are free for everybody. And so, jumped in, gave it a shot. I will do another one. Yeah. Yeah, copyright strikes are no bueno. Yeah, exactly. George Hintz over on Twitch. Hey. Hi. It was cool. It was cool? Oh, the bedtime story. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Pete Beater. Oh, no, I already read it on. Pre-order for US should come up in about 50 minutes. Who says that? Who says 50 minutes? And I'm gonna be doing this show. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna fucking order this while I'm doing Way of the Brush. This is bullshit. Like, it should have been like, 5 a.m., right? Or 6 a.m., 7 a.m. GMT, available on the website. Everybody's site was updated. Bang, was available. Sure, some people in North America might have to get up a little bit earlier. Some people in Australia, it's going to be middle of the night. I realize that. But staggering the times that it's available for everybody, that only means that because anybody who feels like accessing the other sites, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of bullshit. It's kind of bullshit. Kenneth, I tried to order on the UK site, then ship it to the US. They don't work. Either really sucks. Yeah, exactly. Divine Edric, still working on Gargoyles when I can. G squared. Howdy, Kris and monkeys. Howdy. What pre-order am I talking about? The 8-inch Space Marine from Bandai. Games Workshop partnered with Bandai. 8-inch figure. It's going to sell for about, I think it was 90 euros, I think. Something like that. So, I mean, I'm in. I was an already easy sell on this product. And now I'm getting kind of pissed off that I can't buy it on the day that Games Workshop's been hyping it's going to be available. I can't buy it. Which is kind of bullshit. So, Peep Eater, Kenneth, 10 PST is the normal time GW pre-orders kick in for North America. Is it? Every time I've ever seen pre-orders on the Canadian site, it's been like, as soon as I get up in the morning, it's like ready to go for Canada. For pre-orders stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it just kind of pisses me off. It just pisses me off. It's kind of souring me on the deal because now I'm kind of like, well, maybe I don't fucking want one. You know what I mean? Like, if it's going to go through this kind of hassle. And then, of course, everybody else was talking about, scalpers coming in and, buying a shit ton of them. And then, of course, release them on eBay and shit like that. So, hopefully, Games Workshop has mitigated that one on their store, saying, limiting, say, 1 or 2 per customer. But that doesn't stop somebody from creating a whole bunch of accounts and, and buying 2 a whole bunch of times and then having it all shipped to one place. Like, there's nothing stopping somebody from going around the system. And it's kind of BS. So if you're going to have a limited run, then it should be a limited run across the entire spectrum so that everybody has a chance to buy it. But from what I understand, because I was watching my Twitter feed, apparently people in Finland and such already had access to it and already were ordering it. Which, it's kind of BS. It's kind of BS. Kind of bullshit. Dark Commission, is it a standard Marine or a character, and is it pre-painted? It is a standard Intercessor Marine, 8 inches. It's an action figure, so you don't assemble this. It's Bandai, but Bandai has other lines of action figures that are that you can get that are just straight up action figures. You buy them in a box and they're already done. It's just an action figure. It's like buying a G.I. Joe, whatever, right? Fine, no biggie. Is it pre-painted? It looks like it's pre-painted. I would assume it's pre-painted. But otherwise, yeah, that's all it is. It's just an 8-inch action figure, fully posable, really, fully articulate. And it's Bandai. Bandai does great action figures. They're well known for the models and things they create, action figures. I think the last big one for them, well, I mean, I'm sure the Gundams are huge, but I think the last big one for them too was like Star Wars. There was, crap, I can't remember what it's called. There's a Star Wars action figure line. And they did some that where they were like samurais, like Darth Vader's a samurai kind of thing. I can't remember what the hell that line's called. But anyway, so yeah, it's just kind of pissing me off. It's just pissing me off. I was ready. I was so ready this morning before doing the show today that I was going to come in and buy my Marine, and then do my show. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday for Kris, right? Buy my space. I just wanted to buy my Space Marine, spend unnecessary dollars on, on a Space Marine. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. Now my Saturday's all ruined. I got to do the show now, and I'm in a crabby ass mood. No, I'm not really crabby ass mood. Kind of, but not really. Ghost Star Mandalux. Kind of bullshit. Seems like an opinion on almost everything we've heard about the figure since we saw it in the first place. Kind of. Yeah. Especially because it's Bandai. I don't know why they're not making it as a big, like Bandai does like big action figures. Like, hold on a sec here. Well, not action figures, but they could have done it like one of these. Oops, geez, almost got this chair arm in the hoop. They could have done it just like a kit like this, like the Star Wars kits. I gotta make sure I'm in frame here. So they could have done it just like these Star Wars kits, right? See, it's Bandai, right? Star Wars. It's officially licensed stuff. They could have done it as one of these kits, and these are fantastic kits. I love them. I haven't gotten around to this guy yet. This is the only thing is though is the instructions tend to be all in Japanese, which shocking, right? Japanese company producing Japanese product. Yeah, of course their manual's going to be Japanese, right? But anyway, the guides are straight enough to follow. But this is a 6-inch, which is a little bit bigger than what a Space Marine is going to be. But you can see here it's a 6-inch, like that's C-3PO's torso. So he's going to be about yay tall when he's fully assembled. And they can print in all different things, all different materials, surfaces. And I mean, like, the Bandai kits are just fantastic. Like, I don't understand. Like, they would have sold a bazillion of these. They would have sold a bazillion. That's an actual number, a bazillion. Not Brazilian, bazillion. They would have sold a bazillion of these kits if they'd have sold it as a model kit that you could assemble, and you know what I mean? And if you wanted to paint your Space Marine, you could have just painted it. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I mean, I've talked, endless on end about, making an action figure. I thought that was kind of a shit choice to do. But whatever. The fans are going to do it. The fans are going to buy it. I'm a fan. I'm buying one, right? So, but I'm still kind of fucked off that that it's not on the pre-order. I'm on the Canadian site here. Sorry, I got to look past my little light here. Yeah. I'll be refreshing the page periodically throughout the show, just see when it becomes available, because yeah, it is like Ghost Star Mandalux says, it's kind of bullshit. It is kind of bullshit. Pete Beater. Okay, I don't know. Maybe you Canucks get it earlier than US. Damn Commonwealth shenanigans. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Aaron Seach, have to admit, I kind of lost my interest in the 8-inch Bandai figure when I found out it was not a model kit, but an action figure. Not to mention, you are just stuck with Ultra Smurfs. Well, you're not just stuck with Ultra Smurfs. I mean, if you really want to resurface that guy, that Ultramarine symbol it looks like it's just a decal, so you can paint over it or strip it, whatever you want to do. I mean, if I didn't realize how expensive this guy was going to be. I was going to buy a few. I'm okay with getting one. I'm okay with leaving it as an Ultra Smurf. I'm fine with that. That's not a deal breaker for me. I just wish they'd have done it like they've done their other 6-inch figure lines, where it's a model kit. You can assemble it, you can paint it, you can do whatever you want with it. Like that C-3PO, I was toying with the idea of doing LEDs for his eyes, to hold a ball of wax there. But anyway, you know what I mean? Like, you could have done so much with the kit. And because, like, those Star Wars kits, like, they're at a really reasonable price for them. Yeah, I would have probably bought 4. I would have probably spent more money on that kit if it was a Space Marine than I would buying one action figure. Because one action figure, it's a lot of work to strip that, get it down. You know what I mean? Because most likely the way Bandai does it, it's plastic and it's rubber. It's probably rubber connectors, and you don't want to use anything that's going to eat that rubber. And so using like a acetone product or anything like that can make that rubber brittle at times. Depends. It all depends on what the composition is. So there's a lot of things that you're gonna have to be careful of for anybody who wants to strip this model or strip this action figure, right? instead of just doing a repaint on top of it, which I'm sure would be fine as well, because I'm sure the plastic, it's probably cast in blue plastic. Like all the parts, I'm sure were cast in that color. It's not a paint job, I'm sure. It's cast in those colors. Because it's Bandai. That's the way they do it. But yeah. Philip Yee orders up in Japan. Off Games Workshop or off of Bandai site? Does Bandai have it up for sale? Let me see here. Let me go to Japan. Japan English. Pre-orders. I don't see it. I'm on the site. I don't see it. I don't see a Space Marine. You just made me go to Japan's Games Workshop store for nothing? Is that what you're doing? You're wasting my time. Is that what you're doing? You're wasting my time? Yeah. No. It's not there. Japan website? No, I don't see it. You're messing with me, man. You're messing with... Whoop. I gotta switch that back over. There we go. Dr. Santos, yeah, I just checked, and you can order it up on the Finland at the moment. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because that's what I read that first thing this morning on Twitter. There's a bunch of people talking on Twitter that they're already ordering it. I can't order it. Pissing me off. Kenneth, GW is just giving North America the bird. Right, but why would you do that? Why? There's no reason to give North America the bird. Why would they want to do that? North America is a big source of income for Games Workshop. Because that's a lot of American dollars going back to England, right? So, why would you do that? You wouldn't do it. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense to alienate your customers. Lazy Monkey, Bandai Tamashii Nations. Is that what it is? Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember what the figure line was. G squared at Kris. At least the feed is working. Well, the feed better be working, for God's sakes. I went through enough damn hoops with my frickin' internet provider, and, yeah. Irish Minigamer, huzzah, made it. Huzzah. Huzzah. Lazy Monkey, Kris has a Brazilian confirmed. Kris has a Brazilian? Ghost Starman Deluxe. I expect they'll print a generic one. Everyone's bought the Smurf, stripped it down, and repainted it. Yeah, possibly. Dr. Santos. Wave the Brush, episode 268. 6 inches of disappointment. Story of my life. 8 inches of disappointment? Oh, shit. Excuse me. Yeah, that kind of sums it up. Dr. Santos. That's a good one. That's good. My mouth was open. Old man Logan. Hello, Kris. Doing yard work while I listen. So stay entertaining so that it goes faster. Thanks and carry on. Get your lawn done. Mow your lawn. The Weaversburg. I just want to pre-order my Flesh Eaters Warband for Underworlds. Oh, is that one coming up too? So, yeah. I mean, normally, like, whenever you do these pre-orders, I mean, they're usually up pretty damn early. Like, whenever I go on the Games Workshop site, it's like in the morning. Like, if I'm eyeballing something, yeah, it's usually pretty damn early in the day. Anyway, Philip Yee, you didn't even look at my link. What link? I didn't see a link. Sorry, the program I use to see the comments, it won't probably show me a link. Let me go over here. Was there a link? I have to go way back here. No, I didn't see any links, dude. I didn't see any links. Eco 127. I Googled it and it came up on GW's website. Okay, GW. Which country? Which country? Mortal Wombat. Trump has started a trade war with Bandai. That's why you can't order any. Maybe. Maybe. Jokes aside, the knee joints, when it's kneeling, are jank. Yeah, but I mean, knee joints are always going to be kind of weird anyway. And I mean, usually it's to get some of those tight end poses, because I mean, realistically, think about how you would have to move in a suit of Space Marine armor. You would not. I don't even know if you would be able to kneel in that thing because of how the shape of where your knee would sit inside that. There is not enough articulation. Even when you look at a model of a Space Marine, there's not enough there for his knee to bend greater than 90 degrees, right? Which is what a human knee can bend to. So to accommodate that joint probably comes out so that it can come down. And that's why on the model, that's why it looks that way. You could hide it like they do with some really high-end action figures where there's a covering over it, or that entire joint is like a silicone over it, but there's like a plastic skeleton inside, and you can kind of just dislocate it and pull it out, and it still looks sort of natural. Regardless, a Space Marine, like in that pose, I don't think a Space Marine can bend that way. The armor doesn't allow for it. The armor is... Same with bringing the arms across. You know what I mean? Like a Space Marine bringing his arm across. I don't think a Space Marine can do that in those... Well, even like doing this kind of motion, bringing your arms up, those shoulder pads would come in and crush your head. So imagine if a Space Marine didn't have his helmet on, and you asked him a question he couldn't answer, and he goes, "Oh, I don't know," and you crush his head. You pop his head like a big zit. So, you know, realism aside, I mean, you know, it's still a lot of fun. My Mr. Snowyak, the Island Painter. Good evening. Mortal Wombat. So I ain't getting one. Yeah, okay. Hey man, I'm starting to tread closer towards I'm not getting one either. Russ Sandbags. Will GW ever make exodites? Will you play them if they do? If they made exodites, and if they look cool, which I'm pretty sure they would, yeah, no, definitely. I'd totally get some, yeah. Exodites? Damn right. I'd like to see something, though, like if they did exodites, I'd like to see something that didn't look like high elves, like fantasy high elves, with just riding dinosaurs with laser guns. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to see that. I'd want to see something original and different. And I'd want to see something that really spoke to the high-tech, primitive nature of how exodites are imagined to live. And it would be, you know what I mean? Like, you know how like GW with Age of Sigmar has totally been, you know, just free flowing and just making up shit as they go, and you know, and that's fantastic. Age of Sigmar is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I like Deepkin. It's elves, but it's underwater dudes. I mean, you know, you just mix up, and you know what I mean, and you get something a little bit different. And so, Eldar elves riding dinosaurs is a lot of fun, but don't give me a literal translation of elves riding dinosaurs. Let's play with that imagery a little bit more, and possibly even, does it have to be just reptiles and dinosaurs? What if they were riding even like prehistoric mammals? You know what I mean? Like imagine, you know, a big, you know, tank vehicle that was based on, I can't remember what the hell that creature was called. It was like a precursor to the horse. It was this giant hoofed mammal that lived like, you know, 100 or million years ago. Not 100 million years ago, but 1 million years ago. But it was like a giant horse. It was like as tall as a tree, but it was like kind of like a horse. You know what I mean? And things like that. Like even going into just like, you know, ancient mammals and ancient reptiles and maybe even ancient birds, and you know what I mean? Like just go, not just, I don't want to see just an elf riding a raptor. That's fucking boring. That's lazy. That, you know what I mean? There's so much more areas to explore with exodites. And with the whole storyline, the way it seems like they're playing out, that the Eldar are definitely on the ways out, kind of thing, like they're doomed. Yeah, the reliance upon the elves as a last ditch kind of thing, relying on the exodites, would definitely be really exciting, especially within a Ynnari type force, where they could draw upon the Harlequins, who in the past Harlequins were supposed to be rare, ultra rare, right? The Harlequins were like phantoms with amongst ghosts, amongst legend, amongst fairy tales. You know what I mean? Like, to see one would be like a once in a lifetime type of moment, and yet there's entire armies of them running around, running amok. Like, it's like the Grey Knights thing. The Grey Knights are supposed to be in that same kind of vein, that they're just ultra rare and they're a mystery and it's a hush, and to even know the name is to invite cleansing, right? So there's lots of things like that. Divine Edric, Exodite on Terrorbird, yeah. Right? You know what I mean? Like on a big pterodactyl, or even on like the Terrorbird, yeah, like riding around on those big freaking ostrich, killer ostrich things. I can't remember they're not called Terrorbirds, are they? They were like 100,000 years ago, these big ostrich things, but they had like beaks on them like eagles, and they were like big, sharp, nasty claws, and you know what I mean? Like, there's just so much more they can do. There's so much more they can do. And I hope that they don't take the easy path with something like that. Especially, I mean, like, I'm really, honestly, I'm surprised that they have not gotten on board with exodites for, updating Eldar. Because it's a great way to introduce a new faction within 40k that is as old as 40k. The faction, the lore for exodites has been around, and in fact, in 2nd edition Codex, they had entries for taking exodites, and you know what I mean. So, maybe one day, I don't know. I mean, because especially since the fact that they're all about their IP. Exodites is the idea has been in their codexes for so long, but just giving us a guardian riding a raptor, piss off. You know what I mean? Give me something else. Give me an Eldar riding a big cockaboo or chocoboo or whatever the hell they're called from Final Fantasy. The big freaking chicken things. Give me one of those. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, right? Lazy monkey, jellyfish flying tentacle tanks with little Eldar inside. Yeah, right? All sorts of stuff. I mean, yeah, imagine, okay, here, let's just throw out an idea. Let's throw an idea out into the universe, okay? Imagine an exodite force where you borrow from your own IP for elves and water, right? Underwater elves. Deepkin, right? Well, let's borrow from Deepkin. The exodites are... Maybe there's a faction of exodite who employ sea animals to the battlefield. Okay, so imagine, because the Eldar or Eldari, they have anti-gravity technology. Well, what if they took like a manta ray, and they gave him the anti-gravity armor? Maybe the manta ray is wearing Eldar armor, and he has anti-gravity underneath, and he can fly and swim through the air, and you have a couple guardians, and that counts for like a Viper, right? It's just like a 2-man operated thing. They're both standing there with like machine guns or whatever, and it's just a manta ray flying around, and he's got the anti-gravity plates under his belly, and he's just a space manta Eldar thing flying around. Why not? Or even just incorporate that into Deepkin. Whatever, right? So, Fire Drake 18. Space Marines were the same. No one never sees them. Yeah, Space Marines. Yeah, exactly. Space Marines are the same thing, right? They're supposed to be like, because there's a definable number that of Space Marines that should be in 40k universe, right? Because it's only 1,000 Marines, 1,000 chapters. That's a definable number. Right, so protecting the entire galaxy, that seems like one Space Marine per sector of space kind of thing. Like, it's just not possible, unless of course you go with You know, the idea that the Space Marines really are superhuman and, you know, are just these unstoppable dudes. You know, you shoot them. It's like Wolverine, right? You boom, hit him. No problem. You know what I mean? His only concern is he's going to run out of ammo and have to go run up and stab people. That should be only a Space Marine's only concern, right? Is that he's just this unstoppable killer that his only concern is he's going to run out of bullets before he runs out of enemies to kill. And, you know, so... At least you think, right? So... Ghost Starman Deluxe Terrorbird is used as a short of generic term for the extinct larger predatory birds, if you recall. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, because there's like one that was like an ostrich, but instead of like a regular ostrich head, it had more like a head to it, like a bald eagle. So it had that giant ass, sharp ass beak, and it had big raptor claws, like an eagle. It basically looked like a flightless eagle, and it just cruised around and just chomped on people. And apparently it existed at the same time as humans at one point, so... who knows? Dark Commission episode 268. Cruising the strip on my pimped mastodon. My pimped mastodon. Yeah, exactly. Jabba's left nut exodite riding a twat? A twatopotamus? A twatopotamus? What the hell's a twatopotamus? God, I hope that's not what you're talking about there. A twatopotamus. Fire Drake 18 saw the Necromunda campaign with Ash. I call hacks. Oh, don't worry. It really goes downhill. We're only a few games in, and yeah, it's a journey so far. Oof. Lazy Monkey 60-70 psychedelic artwork creature armies. Yeah, you know, like, they can just go anywhere, man. You know what I mean? Like, just don't be afraid to just, you know, go for it. Don't play it safe. Go for it, you know? Anyway. Dark Commission episode 268. Would you buy from a used Manta salesman? No. Why would you? No, because he's going to be shady. He's going to be shady anyway. Ghost Star X. Unfortunately, the Manta Ray is already a Tau unit. Right, but I mean, well, it's called a manta, but I mean, like that, but the description of that manta creature, I mean, it's actually, you know what I mean, you can call it whatever the hell you want, but it's a manta. It is a manta. It's not just a code name, because, I mean, as far as I understand things, the names for Tau things, isn't that the human designation for them? Or do they actually call it a manta? Because, I mean, by the sounds of it, the Tau homeworld is a dry, desolate place. Where the hell are they getting all these fish? Right? So, riddle me that. Riddle me that one, Batman. George Hintz, Axebeak. An Axebeak? Or is it Axebeak? Axebeak? Lazy Monkey Space Fish. Duh. 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 Disco Duke. The only concern of the Space Marine should be the gradient of a hill being too much for his knees. Exactly, right? Because he can't bend his fucking knees. Space Marine, I mean, when you look at Space Marine armor, there's all sorts of flaws with actually wearing a suit of Space Marine armor. There's a whole bunch of flaws, especially just in movement alone. It's ridiculous. But it's fantasy, so, you know, you take that leap, and it's cool. Divine Edric, exodite on a giant sloth. A giant sloth? Okay, here's how we make a giant sloth work. He's artillery. His ass is constantly slow moving, and he can even climb up sheer surfaces so that he can lob, like, you know, crazy ass shots on people, and they can't see him because he's, you know, he's up in a tree, and he's boonk, you know. He's artillery. A sloth, it's an artillery unit. It's their artillery units. And he's just wearing a big effing artillery piece on his back, and he can get into all crazy positions, and, you know. Come on, man. It's ideas. Just free-flowing, man. This is like, you know, intellectual imagery jazz kind of thing, man. It's just, we just keep bouncing these ideas back and forth. I can spit out all sorts of ideas at you guys. G Squared, episode 268, Revenge of the Bandai Space Marine. Or not. Yeah, exactly. Like, here, I'm going to refresh the frickin' page once again. I'm on the Canadian site? Yeah, I'm on the Canadian site. You cacks. Yeah, that's right. I'm calling GW a bunch of cacks. Bunch of cucks. Whoever's running this is a bunch of cucks. Ghost Stammer Deluxe. Not sure if the predatory ones lived at the same time as humans, but the big Austrian clucker definitely did. Then again, maybe that was predatory. Yeah, again, you know what I mean? Like, everybody knows all about dinosaurs and stuff like that, but we don't really know about all the prehistoric mammals. You know what I mean? Like, all these crazy ass mammals that were, because like there was a sloth that was just gigantic. It was huge, right? And apparently that one was like even around the same time as humans. And you know what I mean? Like, there's this giant ass sloth. Like, that'd have been freaking scary. Getting away from him was no problem, but you know, that'd have been scary. I mean, I assume it's a sloth, right? And sloths are just like, you know. Anyway, lazy monkey riddle solved. Space fish. Yeah, I get it. The Tau homeworld is dry. How is that everything's fish named if that is what they're calling the things, right? That can't be it. Because there's no fish. Or at least the lakes are very minimal on the Tau homeworld. At least all the depictions of the Tau homeworld are all dry and desolate. It's like Arizona, right? The frickin' place is like Arizona. You live in Arizona. And, you know, I'm pretty sure it is the human designation for these Tau vehicles, that what they're calling them, because it looked like to the humans, you know, what they were familiar with. Dark Mission, episode 268, To the Battlefish, men. Lazy Monkey, they can go every bit as crazy, if not more so, with exodites than the fantasy of Age of Sigmar. How many exodite worlds? How many alien planets with their own ecosystems? How much specialized breeding and genetic manipulation and technology integrations with biology could the exodites have gotten up to since they left the homeworlds behind? Right. And you can play it like they've been manipulating a whole bunch of shit, like right since, you know, millions of years ago, or tens of thousands of years ago when they left their worlds. You know, what were they doing? Or were they more like, you know, how we imagine, you know, Mennonite, Amish, right? Where they're abandoning technology, and so they keep a very minimal amount of it around, and they're living more of a pure kind of natural kind of world kind of thing, where they're just living amongst the ecosystem that they're on. But yes, definitely amongst different worlds, yeah, there would be different animals, unless of course you play into the fact that the Eldar terraform, right? Because the Maiden worlds are supposed to be worlds that the Eldar seeded. So maybe like the standard construct template, the Eldar, you know, fired their, you know, terraforming, you know, magic on a planet, and it terraformed it over millions of years to evolve to, you know, be identical to how all the other Eldar worlds were. They have a particular world that they like, and they just had the recipe for, you know, making worlds that they liked. And so, you know, maybe that's what it's all about. Maybe that's what Eldar terraforming was all about. Is they just they make a world, right? Because in some of the lore, it's described that they the Maiden worlds, the Eldar made them. They prepared those worlds. It's not like they went around and said, "Oh, we're gonna take that world and go to another system. Oh, we're gonna take that world." No, they said, "Oh, here's a world, bang, we're gonna make it so in a couple million years we can go and live there," and you know what I mean. And so that's what the Eldar were doing. Because if you follow the lore, I mean, Eldar are supposed to be very, very old, but Eldar are in that unique position where they're supposed to be an evolutionary dead end because they never evolved. The old ones created them. They weren't evolved. The old ones said, "We're gonna take a bunch of parts and bang." And this is going to be our psychic troop against the Necrons in our holy war against them, right? At least that's what the old lore about Eldar were. Is the Eldar are not evolved from anything. They were made by the old ones. Now, whether or not the old ones just simply took an elf-like creature and, you know, made it into whatever they wanted, sure, that could have happened as well. But, you know, Eldar by far and large represent an evolutionary dead end because they have no want. They can make everything that they need from wraithbone. They live for a very long time. They're psychic. They're, you know what I mean? Like, they have no need. That's why they would fall to excess, because they have no needs. There's no troubles for them to overcome that they have to, you know. So, yeah. I think you guys all understand where I'm going with that, right? Ghost Star Mentalix. If I recall, Walking with the Beast, British paleontology program about post-dinosaur prehistory, there was a giant sloth that smacked the shit out of the saber-toothed cat. Sure. George, elf riding giant mosquito, bloodsuckers, fast attack troop choice. Riding giant mosquitoes? Sure, why not? Yeah, Eldar riding giant insects? Totally possible. Yeah, it sounds crazy, but yeah, why not? Why not? Big beetles. Eldar riding big beetles. Why not? Big beetle, you know, imagine a giant ass beetle the size of like a scorpion grav tank. Wouldn't that be freaking crazy? And it's got like, you know, it's all decked out, and you know what I mean? Like, he's got these like Eldar add-ons. Like, maybe like Eldar can just simply graft, you know, wraithbone onto a creature, and you know, it accommodates weapons for it, and you know what I mean? Whatever, right? You can imagine whatever the hell you want, because Eldar are magic. So, you know, you can imagine whatever the hell you want. Reziel, I just listened to War Without End in the Horus Heresy, and one story follows Logar being shown the birthplace of Slaanesh. Sweet, sweet Eldar suffering. Okay. Peep Eater, are Bone Singers seeking a complete bio STC? I don't think so. I think Bone Singer, because, like, if anything, they'd be looking for songs. But if the Eldar were left wanting, the Harlequins, because they have the Black Library, which is all of knowledge, they would just simply just release it back out to the Eldar and say, oh, here's the song that how you play to make whatever, right? Because it's if it's Bone Singers and they're just doing a song, they got the magical instruments and the crystal forms whatever the hell they want, you know. It's all plot stuff, right? It's all plot, but you know, yeah. But they have the Black Library, so Eldar hang on to, like, you know, pretty much all the important shit, and you know, whatever. I don't know. Divine Ederic, the Genesis device. Yeah, the Genesis device, right? The Eldar had the Genesis device. Or, you know, possibly they had something like that. Because, yeah, as far as I understood, that's what they were doing. That was the whole point of the Maiden Worlds, is that they were going around and just going to a star system, and whatever planet met their needs, they, boom, you know, and they seed that world, and they'd make it to how they liked it. It wasn't like they were going around surveying planets going, oh, we like this world. No. They would go and change it and make it their world, you know? Gimpy Troll. Space Marine pick was posted in general of your Discord. I don't have Discord up right now. Just to make sure that my streaming runs perfectly. Knock on wood. I don't have a lot of things up running. Just playing it safe. Man. Just playing it safe. Until I get my hands on a newer computer. Because like I said in the last episode, my computer that I do all this stuff on, all my video editing and stuff like that, yeah, I do it on an 08. Believe it or not. Lazy Monkey, now I'm craving exodite models. Damn you. Yeah, wouldn't it? I mean, exodites would be fun. Why not? And I mean, for all you Ynnari players out there, it's just another add-on into the Force. You know, and exodites, making a whole Force exodites, that would be freaking great. You know? Ghost Starman Deluxe, Big Beetle, you mean like Ariel's mount? Yeah, right, exactly. Ariel's mount. But I'm talking big. And something crazy, like a big cockroach. I don't know if I'd go with something gross like a cockroach. A beetle's pretty far, pretty, like a lot of people are like, oh, beetle, he's kind of cute, you know? Whereas a cockroach, I don't hear anybody go, oh, cockroach, that's cute, you know? I don't hear anybody doing that. So I don't know if cockroaches, like Eldar riding cockroaches, would really be like, oh, good for him, you know? I don't know. I don't really see it like that. Whereas, you know, are there cute insects? I don't know. Ooh, Eldar and dragonflies? Why not? Dragonfly? That'd be freaking awesome. Dragonflies are awesome predator. Ooh, Eldar and a praying mantis. Why not? Right? Here, look, just fucking throwing all sorts of ideas out into the universe, man. Got all sorts of things going on. Ruben Matnoff. And magic is heresy. It is heresy. John J. Hey, monkeys. Hey. Country Gaming of ND. About to run my squats in the first 2K game. Wish me luck. Well, good luck. Running your squats. Do you run them just as Imperial Guard, or do you use squat rules? Like, are you playing an 8th edition game, or are you playing, like, a 2nd edition game? I don't know. I kind of want more answers now. Raziel, I just enjoy the chaos perspective on Eldari. Sure. Okay. P. Beater, the Bone Singer thing was just a joke listening then to Mechanicus. I just thought the idea of their seeding the Maiden Worlds with the standard genetic template was both fun and amusing. Yeah. But I mean, I'm pretty sure, I don't remember where it was that it talks about how the Maiden Worlds were just worlds that the Eldar, during, their time, that it was like millions, because Eldar was supposed to have been around for like a long time, and they've just been existing as Eldar for a long time because, again, like I said, they didn't evolve. They didn't need to change. Once the war amongst the war with Necrons, the war in heaven was won, they kicked back and partied, and that's what brought about Slaanesh, right? So, Reziel, I really like the new Drazar. The pose is a little static, considering that you have something really dynamic with Janzar. I would imagine with Drazar, you'd have got something a little bit more dynamic with him. His pose is just kind of, he's just kind of, let's go, let's do this. You know what I mean? Whereas Janzar is like doing like a, backflip heel thing, and she's getting ready to chuck her ninja star at you. You know what I mean? Like, you could see lots of movement with her, whereas Drazar is kind of, Anyway. Lazy Monkey. Ladybugs. Ladybugs are cute. Ladybugs. That's another great one. Yeah, ladybugs. Right? I mean, there's a bazillion different insects you could just peruse for inspiration as far, and hell, you can even make up bugs, right? You could take something that looks like a beetle and a praying mantis and a mosquito, and, haha, got a mosquito manta bug, so, there's, the imagination is limitless, especially with something like that is just completely virgin territory, officially, for Games Workshop, because there is no official things made. And because the spectrum is so broad, and it's not really clearly defined as to what the exodites are, it would be kind of fun for them to introduce exodites into it, especially with, bringing about the whole Doom of the Eldar thing, Why not? The exodites are out there. We know the exodites are out there. Do they have a part to play in the final game, right? So, yeah. It should be fun. It'd be fun to explore. Raziel, I'd like to see them riding like a hornet. A hornet, yeah, there you go, right? That'd be scary. Frick. Hornet. Like, you even imagine, like, exodites, where you could just play within the themes of them, right? You can have exodites riding dinosaurs. You can have exodites riding prehistoric mammals. You can have exodites riding insects, right? You can have exodites, whatever. You just keep going, Pick your point in Earth history, and hell, you can even play upon the mystical, right? Elementals. Exodites playing with the elementals. Why not? Why not? Peep Eater. Figures up for pre-ordering. Is it? Let me see. Make sure you're not bullshitting me. I just refreshed the Canadian page. I don't see fuck all. I still see fuck all. Fuck all. Fuck all. I still see fuck all. Fuck all. Fuck all. Oh, there he is. All right, there he is. I see him. There he is. There he is. He's there. $120. Woof. He's certainly not cheap. Certainly not cheap. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at some pictures of him. Let's have some looks. Oh, his head rotates around. I wonder, did the engine nozzles move? Oh, did the engine nozzles flare? You know how like they have that close open kind of look? You know, do they flare open? Are the eye lenses a clear plastic like the lenses on the scopes? Yeah, we all know he's pretty darn big. Oh, he looks like he's got a poop there. He's like, which way to the toilet? Gotta go. Yeah, it's pretty darn cool. Over 50 points of articulation. Limited release of 9,000 copies from Games Workshop. Those are the key features. The first ever Warhammer themed action figure with over 50 points of articulation. Over. Not under. Over. So there he is. Okay. So he's up. I can't buy him right now because I'm doing this shit. So. Oh, well, frick. I gotta. If I want it, I gotta order it now, don't I? If I want it. God damn it. You guys are gonna make me do this, aren't you? Make me pre-order this shit on fucking line. God damn it. It's a good thing I have my wallet down here. It's almost like I knew I was gonna come down here and buy something today. Raziel, absolutely hate Jane Czar's feet. Always have. Her feet? What's wrong with her feet? What's wrong with Raziel's feet? What's wrong with Raziel's feet? What's wrong with Jane Czar's feet? What's wrong with Jane Czar? Sir Peanut Butter Drazar, you mean the new Clevex? Is it Drazar or is it Clevex? What is it? No, I thought the Clevex was the weapon. Drazar is the dude. Although I thought Drazar had 4 arms. Wasn't he described as 4-armed? I'm trying to remember the old Eldar model. Yeah, didn't Drazar have 4 arms? Anyway. Divine Edric, don't just cross bugs with lizards, then you're getting into Tyrannid territory. Sure, but why not? You can cross bugs into lizards. Hell, why not have exodites who are playing around with Tyrannids? What if they have the secret to blocking off, the hive mind, taking the Tyrannids and manipulating them to their own designs? What if those exodites, because they're so in tune with nature and whatever hippy dippy shit you want to come up with, they can take a Tyrannid and they can make it into whatever they want. They can calm it down. They can domesticate a Carnifex. You know what I mean? Like, why not? Again, we're only limited by the imagination. Peep Eater, no bullshit. I just ordered mine, bro. Cool. George Hintz, elf chemical bio warfare troops riding giant stink bugs. Sure. Disco Duke, episode 268, Exodites and Entomology. I like it. It sounds intellectual, but we're still talking about wargaming. But it sounds rather like we're being rather intellectual about things, right? Yes, intellectual, indeed. Hold on, I gotta change the Twitch channel thingy. Stream might go a little funny here for a sec, as I'm mucking around with things. Piss off. Update. There we go. Exodites and etymology. I like it because it sounds like we're kind of highbrow about all this, right? I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Seriously, I gotta buy this. Okay. Can I check out here, please? Can I check out? This product is made to order and will be dispatched within 270 days. Good thing I'm not in a rush for it. Checky out. Can I check out? Do I have a password? I don't know if I do. Let's try. Do I have a password? No, I do not. Oh, for the love of God. Let's see. Sorry, folks. It's going to get a little boring because I am dicking around with some stuff. All right, GW. I forgot my password. What's my Oh, fuck off. What's my password, GW? Here. Good God, I'm not still on the screen here, am I? Okay. I was just checking to make sure that I wasn't I wasn't showing you guys what I was doing. Oh shit. I almost messed that all up. Everybody gets my credit card information. Oh shit. I'd have felt like an asshole then. Games Workshop. Oh, they just sent me the email now. First ever Warhammer action figure. Yeah, I want one. I'm trying to buy one. God damn it. I'm trying to buy one live. And they're not making it easy for me. Assholes. Yeah, exactly. Go Sniper Deluxe. Kris buys the fig during the show and accidentally gives away his credit details. Yeah, I know. P. Peter, if I recall, Kedrick has 4 arms. No, the old Drazar model has 4 arms. I'm pretty sure he has 4 arms. He's got like 2 up like this, and I thought he had 2 down here. Or was that somebody else? Frick, I can't remember now. Oh. George Hintz, what time is the Friday show? The Friday show? You mean for Twitch? I have not really worked on that. I just... So many fucking things, and I'm trying to... Just send me my goddamn information. Maybe I'd never registered with Games Workshop. I can't remember. Oh, man. Maybe it's in my spam folder. GW sent it to my spam folder? Yes, I do want a larger penis. Yes, I do want Viagra. What is this spam folder? Holy shit, what is going on here? Oh, is this where these emails have been going? I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm officially getting pissed off now. Okay, screw it. I'm just gonna check out as a goddamn guest. Do I still have to put in a goddamn email? Check. Continue as a guest. Oh, for fuck's sake. This is annoying. We should just do a segment of Kris peruses the internet for stuff. I've got to make sure I'm not... Okay, there you go. Yeah, I'm not on screen capture here. Continue as guest. Let's go. Delivery. Deliver store. Deliver to a store? No. Deliver Canadian address? Yeah, well, I'm in Canada, asswipes. Yes. Enter my address. Holy shit, I gotta enter all this. Come on. They just want all my goddamn information, don't they? I guess it's been a long time since I've ordered anything from GW's site. I thought I ordered something not too long ago. Apparently not. Okay, wait, what? Oh, that's kind of cute. Okay. Phone number. There we go. As you can may or may not be able to tell, I do not type very fast. I think I've mentioned that before. Yeah, whatever. Let's go for that. Continue. Oh, for the love of God. Oh, for the love of God. Oh, it's kind of nice, though, that you can pay with PayPal, though. You know what? We will. We'll pay with PayPal. There's a frickin' fly in here now. I'm going to send GW a message in my order. Check out with PayPal. And I got my credit card out for nothing here. Yes. All these hoops you got to jump through for these frickin' things here. We should just name the show Kris Orders Shit on the Internet. Yes, my PayPal balance. Let's go. Do I even have money in my PayPal? I'm sure the comments are just flying by now. What's going on here? Lazy Monkey, just put my address in. It'll be okay. Yeah. No dice here in the States. Hold on. Yeah. I should have just put Ligma. Sir Peanut Butter. Kris, I was joking that unlike Janzar, who is easily distinguished from the regular Banshees, I feel the new Drazar looks like the standard Incubi, just not unique enough. Yeah, definitely. He's kind of... I mean, he's cool and he's impressive and everything like that, but I'm just not... I'm not up on his pose. His pose is just... You know what I mean? Janzar is like, whoa! You know, they're doing like this whole Bruce Lee kind of thing where she's put the, you know, stick her spear in your face and, you know, throw the ninja star into you. And, you know what I mean? And it just, you know, I don't know. All right, it's ordered, duders. Subscribe to the newsletter. I'm already subscribed to that shit. Yeah, I should have put Ligma in the notes. Ligma. This Space Marine is for Ligma. Oh shit. Okay, so there we go. I ordered my Space Marine. I ordered mine. It's ordered. Yeah, I got the emails confirming. It's confirmed. I just paid that much in Canadian for a fucking action figure. I was buying one anyway. There we go. Right, correct address. Now, apparently it's supposed to be the first quarter of 2020. So, you know. Of course, if GW, if you're listening, and I've been bad-mouthing you the whole show, I'm sorry. It's kind of like an abusive husband thing, you know. So I'm sorry. I was out of line. I'm sorry. But if anybody from GW is listening, if we could, you know, expedite said Space Marine, you know, that'd be beauty, eh? Oh, man. Old Man Logan, never mind. Only 100 US, so a bargain. Is it up on the American site yet? I closed the window already. As soon as I got my details, I was like, I'm out. Piakio Ute. Oh, PayPal, what do you want? Auto login. No, I'm not auto login. No. God damn it. No. Stop trying to sell me shit. Just because I'm spending money doesn't mean you can sell me shit. Pete Beater, looking at detailed pictures, it is interesting to see the Space Marine. The Marine's inner armor collar is itself articulated. The back collar within the outer blue gorget, and it's independent of the head. Neat. It's Bandai. I'm sure they worked their Bandai magic on it. I'm sure it's very well engineered. I don't think... I mean, if you were going to make an action figure of a Space Marine, who else would you go to make your action figure other than Bandai? Who else is going to do it well with all the articulation that you're going to want, you know? So, yeah. Beast says it's up. Oh, it is up on the site now? Cool. Rezio, I don't know. She has weird deformed ballerina feet and none of the others do. Never liked the pose of her curl star. The glaive? The glaive. Well, I mean, how do you do the glaive in her hand? I mean, you know, like what else is it gonna do? You're gonna have it like hanging off her belt? That's kind of boring, you know? Gonna have it. I mean, I guess really, if you wanted to have something really interesting, is like if she was like flying around and the way her hair kind of say came up and the glaive attached and looked like it was coming back to her hand. You know what I mean? That would have been That would have been cool, right? Where she's kind of like, maybe she's like in a kind of jumping back kind of pose where she's catching her glaive. That'd have been cool, right? Because then they could have sculpted her hair coming back and then just had that glaive kind of just touching the hair, and it looked like it was coming back into her hand. You know what I mean? Something like that. That would have been cool. Sure, right? Why not? Dark Commission, I made a mistake. I just pre-ordered an ice cream. Old Man Logan. Yes, it is. Just ordered one from the US. Okay. Alexander, is this the Bandai Space Marine? Yes, that's what I've been bitching about this whole episode. It was the Bandai Space Marine. How I woke up this morning excited for the pre-order, like one, and it's not there. And I look on Twitter, and people in Finland were already buying the fucking thing, and that pissed me off. I was like, oh, I was, you know, I was ready to hit a Twitter storm, just like, you cock balls motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, it's. Anyway, it's ordered. Games Workshop and Bandai just got more of my money. I'm into Bandai and Games Workshop shit already, and so that was an easy sell for me. I'm a sucker. I'll admit it. I'm a sucker, and I bought a Space Marine because why not, right? So, yeah. Old Man Logan. Oh well, I tried. Give subs permission for links, Kris. Damn it. What? I'll do it after. For links. Subs for links. I don't know what the hell we're talking about here. We'll do that after. Over on Twitch. Oh, giving the subs permission to post links. I got you. I'm a little slow. This whole internet thing, man. Just, and I don't use Twitch all that often. I've been meaning to, up my Twitch game. And I know I keep saying that, but I really do. Okay. Hold on here. Where do I find that? That would be my channel settings. Right? We'll say it's in my channel settings. Good God. I've gone down some sort of rabbit hole here. Rolls. Maybe it's in rolls. No, it's not in rolls. Moderation. No, it's not moderation. It's not that link either. Okay. Maybe I just click on the chat. Maybe that's what I do. Maybe it's in the chat settings. It's in the chat settings. Subscriber only chat? No. Oh, excuse me. I don't see anything for letting subscribers post links. No, I'm gonna have to do this afterwards because this is messing me up. Anyway, all right. Lazy Monkey fanboys will be fanboys, but if it's in your budget, fudge it. Alexander, I buy Gundam model kits, so I know the song. It's bitter and cruel one. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been getting into Gundams as well, and there's for an action figure this big, you spend $100. I mean, collectors, we're suckers, man. We're suckers. And I'll say it. I've got a big sucker written right on my forehead. Not a big sucker, but I mean, anyway. Twitchy Kranos permit command not set up looks like. Oh, yeah. And, I forgot to turn on Demon Monkey Butt. So, Demon Monkey Butt's asleep right now. And I'm not turning him on. I could probably turn him on. He'll probably be fine. But I'm not going to turn him on. Lazy Monkey. Sucker. I don't even know her. LOL. I got jokes. Old Man Logan. Sorry to derail. We'll figure it out later. Yeah. Razia. How much is the Space Marine fig, by the way? The figure is, for me, it was $120. That's Canadian. Which means it's probably only $10 US. No. I don't know what the US price was. I imagine it's probably about $100. I think Old Man just said it was $100. I think that's what Old Man said. I'm going by what Old Man was telling me. Peep Eater, are there 9,000 people out there who are going to buy this Space Marine? I imagine today, I don't know if everybody was super fired up about it. I think this would have been an easy sell for Games Workshop if it was a kit. You know what I mean? If they did it, a Space Marine kit, sprues, assemble it, paint it however you want, and and these kits are only like, I don't know, what are they, like less than $50. I would have bought 4 of these easily if this was a Space Marine. If this was a Space Marine, I would have bought 4 of this kit without even blinking. I barely blinked buying that Space Marine just now. but I would have bought 4 of these. And, so it's, I don't know why they didn't go that route. I don't know why they didn't just make, an 8-inch Space Marine kit. I really don't know why they didn't. Maybe it's something they're going to do in the future. Maybe this is just the beginning of a whole Bandai thing, and then there's going to be more Bandai stuff. I'm fine with just a Space Marine action figure. It's a collector's piece. If they don't do anything else other than a Space Marine, I'm fine with that. I wouldn't get super worked up about doing other chapters, because like most people who buy this action figure are probably going to strip it and repaint it anyway. I don't know if I will. I don't know. I may. It all depends. It all depends, I guess, really, if you guys all out there were going, strip it, repaint it, let's paint it like, whatever. Oh, Crimson Fists. Or even Imperial Fists. Some sort of fist. Because Kris is all about fists. That sounds awful. Anyway, Twitchy Kranos. Looks like it's 120 Canadian, 100 US, and 75 UK. There we go. Peep Eater, 100 US. Critman Live. I thought it was going to be like a Gundam kit, which is annoying. I know, exactly. But I was already pissed off about that months ago when they said it was an action figure. And it's like, action figure. And then they said, yeah, it's going to come, pre-assembled, pre-painted, I was like, because I love the Bandai kits. I have a whole bunch of Bandai kits. I love the Star Wars Bandai kits. They're fantastic. Excuse me. And, I'm out of coffee. Oh, and nobody's here. Fudge. Anyway, might be a short show because, I need coffee. But anyway, so I was like, I was already really disappointed ages ago. I already got over that. I'm already over it's an action figure. I'm fine with that. I still want my Space Marine action figure. Even if they came out with a Space Marine plushie, I would buy a Space Marine plushie. Why? Because I'm a big fucking sucker. So, But if they sold plush Nurglings, I'd buy 100 of those. Especially if they were all different poses. Like if they did them like a base. I don't want them to do like a plushie where it's a whole bunch of Nurglings as one. Because that'd be fucking lame. One Nurgling, different poses, and you can arrange them however you want. And you could fill up your space with a bunch of plush Nurglings. That would be fantastic. I would do that. I would have them stapled to my wall like some sort of serial killer. And I'd have them all over the wall. And, yeah. Alexander, maybe persons who want to do custom work with it might be too. Yeah. I mean, it is a little steep for that figure, which is why I'm not super fired up about messing with it. I'm fine with it being an ultramarine, and I'm fine with all that, and it being an action figure. I'm fine with that as well. No biggie. And soon enough, you'll see it up on the shelf behind me somewhere. Soon enough, if Games Workshop wants to send it to me earlier, I wouldn't be adverse to that. Just saying, if you're out there, GW, want to send it to me earlier? Just saying, it's an idea. Christmas is coming around the corner at Games Workshop. Just saying, you make this little girl happy. Not that I identify as a little girl. Is there anybody out there who identifies as a little girl? Like, I mean, like, you identify as a woman, but I mean, do you identify as a little girl? Like, am I a little boy? Am I a little girl? It gets into a whole weird conversation right there, so we'll avoid that one. So maybe somebody out there is like, I am a little girl. I'm 3 years old. That's just weird. Reziel, man, I just cannot afford that Marine right now. Yeah. I mean, the pre-order, is it going to sell out right away? I don't know. I'm guessing no, but it might sell it the next hour or so. I have no idea. Who knows? Are there going to be more than 9,000? Probably. If this is really successful, they'll probably do another run, and probably by the time summer rolls around, another release of them will be made. I guess it really all depends on sales, really. Whether or not this makes money. Critman Live, same. I have 144 Gundam kits, and they're well worth the money. Yeah. Oh, I know. Gundam kits? I know. Because Gundam's the tiniest of articulation. It's crazy. Alexander, did you get the new Star Destroyer kit? The one from Zvezda or from Bandai? The Bandai one is not that big. The Zvezda one is big. It's like 30 inches long. Whereas the Bandai one, I don't think is that big. I think it's only like 18 inches or something like that. It's not very big. PP, the cynical part of me says, thinks that GW reason if the customers who aren't already buying Bandai see how nice the model kits are, they might start buying more Bandai instead of G&W. It's a different product. And I'm sure with the agreement that Bandai is kicking all sorts of royalties back to Games Workshop. I mean, Bandai does all the legwork. Games Workshop collects on their IP. I mean, realistically, that's where Games Workshop should be heading, is collecting on their IP. Right? Because... And I've had this thought here, and I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent here. With the... Because I've mentioned this before in previous shows, where 3D printing, it's going to be very, very soon, 3D printing will take over this hobby. 3D printing is going to be very, very inexpensive to enter. And soon as the 3D printers can print in colors and give us a fully painted model right out of the hop, will we need miniature painting? And I thought about this, and I've argued that that will kill a lot of miniature painting in regards. But then I thought about it a little bit more, and I come to the realization that I am not entirely correct in that regards. Okay? Yeah, I can even admit when I'm wrong. I think, because I think really where my thought was at the time was that it was more techno fear. That 3D printing, bang, it's going to come out, the printers are going to be able to print in color, and you're going to be able to print your models however you want. Boom. Right? And as the resolution increases and increases, which it always does, those printers will get finer and finer, and to the point where you can print a model to look like any famous painter's miniature. They just it'll print it in that style of paint job, where you can do non-metallic, or can do it metallic, or can, you know what I mean? Because all it is a print on the surface. That's all it is. It's just change color, or printing in that, whatever. However they want to work out that technology, it is coming. 3D printing will take over and become pretty norm. So, But I've often said that will pretty much kill a lot of miniature painting. And I realized that I think I'm wrong about that. Because over 100 years ago, the camera was invented. The camera, right? For photography, the camera. The camera was invented. Maybe it was over 100 years. It was 150 years. I don't remember when I don't know when the hell it was made, but either way, the camera came out, and at the time, people said painting was like painting pictures, painting portraits. It was done. It was done. It's gonna kill it. This thing killed that market. And for a time, as that was a fad and that became popular, I'm sure that statement was probably fairly true. But painting portraits is still a thing even today. Painting portraits, I mean, you pay quite a bit, but, right? So, camera technology has increased 100-fold, since those days. And yet painting has not. Painting, because it's kind of an old school kind of thing, right? It's kind of, it's one of those human fundamental forms, taking a pigment, applying it to a surface, and, expressing your idea, right? It started with the cave paintings, the caveman taking the paint and putting it on the wall. Nothing has changed from that moment to today, right? And so even with technology, and I think really when I was thinking of that idea that when the 3D printers can print the models in whatever style you want, that I think there was a bit of techno fear that I was having at the moment. But then I've come to realize that no, painting still will exist. Those printers will exist. Will those printers be more popular than the painted models? For a time, most likely. But people will still paint their models. So I can see but I mean, really it comes down to, I want a fully painted army, and I want it to look like so-and-so's painting did an entire army for me. That printer is going to be able to do it. That artist is not going to be able to do it in a timely fashion that it would take the 3D printer. Right? I think, that's most likely. So, definitely. And I think company like Games Workshop with such a rich IP, that's definitely where they should be, I think, looking forward to, is just getting the IP out there, because once 3D printing is so common, and it's pretty common now, and just, don't resist it. Don't resist it. Don't fight against it, because otherwise you're just going to fall into that same trap that you did 15 years ago. And, you know what I mean? And people are going to just push away from Games Workshop and just, and then you're going to see all these other companies rise. And, you know what I mean? If Games Workshop wants to stay ahead and stay on top, yeah, they got to embrace the 3D print market and just start releasing stuff for 3D print, Anyway. Divine Edric, I will always paint. Sure, I'll probably always paint too. Unless I got a printer. But if I want to do like a full army that looks like I painted it, you know what I mean? If I could make an army that looked like I painted it, that painted in whatever particular style I wanted to do, and I could have that printed up quickly and have it playable like in days, I'm going that route rather than clipping parts. Because clipping and cleaning sprues, that is my least favorite aspect of getting an army ready. That's like at the bottom part of painting. Yeah, even base coating gets kind of tiresome for me sometimes. I'm just slaying the initial colors on. That's why sometimes I'll get into like a little bit of wet blending, and I'll blend color while I'm laying the base coat, and it's so bored. But yeah, once you start getting into the nuance, you start laying down those highlights, and you start building up color and transitions, and and you start really having fun with some stuff, and then it's like, oh, okay, here we go. This is but you can't have joy with you can't have pleasure without a little bit of pain, right? Can't always be 100% pleasurable. Sometimes there's got to be a painful side to it. So I know that sounds like we're heading into some funny territory there, but Reziel saw a rumor of GW and Marvel deal. Anyone know anything about that? That's Marvel Comics, I do believe. There's going to be comics coming out, which is cool. Warhammer comics, very cool. And you never know, you might get a Warhammer Saturday morning cartoon. That'd be kind of fun. That'd be kind of fun. I don't know. Do they have Saturday morning cartoons anymore? I don't even know. Is Saturday morning even a thing anymore? It's like when I was a kid, so long ago, Saturday mornings was a thing. You grabbed your bowl of cereal, you sat down in front of the TV, and you watched the Saturday morning cartoon lineup. Is that even a thing? Do kids even do that anymore? And you can't, you can't say, well, people's, this generation, blah, 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 that kind of argument. The generation before didn't do it, right? They didn't wake up Saturday morning and watch the Saturday morning cartoon lineup because there was no TVs at that time. So the technology didn't exist, right? So, yeah. Divine Edric. Warhammer on Disney Plus. That's one. Oh, man. You want to get me? What the hell is that? Anyway. Yeah, that's annoying. Disney Plus. Disney's going to get my freaking money, man. Because that Mandalorian show, I'm excited for Mandalorian. I'm excited for that one. I'm genuinely excited for Mandalorian. I don't get excited over TV shows or movies. Well, not too often anyway. But I'm excited for Mandalorian. I'm excited for it. I'm going to give it a couple episodes before I render any kind of a judgment on it, whether or not it's any good. From the first episode, I'm sure it'll be pretty fun. But who knows where it goes from there. And then, of course, when we're talking about, seasons and stuff like that, will it go the distance? Will it go the distance? Will the idea go the distance? And if Disney throws enough money at it, I'm sure, because, you get the best writers, you get the best actors, you get the best special effects, you know what I mean? You should have the best show. But we'll see, Thing is, I noticed this in the Marvel movies, it's too many fucking committees. It's too many committees. And when there's too many cooks in the kitchen, what's the expression? Too many cooks in the kitchen spoils the broth? Something like that, right? And that's the way these these IP go, right? Is Games Workshop in that boat? Is there too many cooks in the kitchen as far as, model design and stuff like that? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Right now the models seem to be really dynamic, really fun. If it is a committee making those decisions, they're all on the same page. So, that's cool. So, I don't know. But anyway, Clumsy Juggler, photo scanning painted mini to create 3D models to print is also becoming super easy. Yeah, I know. It all is. Like I said, it's coming. The technology's there. It's coming. It's just got to get refined, right? When the first cameras came out, it wasn't like a goddamn Polaroid. It wasn't, it wasn't digital photography, Photoshop, freaking Instagram shit. The first day, it was a tin can with a lens and and sensitive paper. You know what I mean? Like, it was primitive, but the technology was already there, and the technology began. And so, with printing, I'm sure even when printers were a thing, the concept of the 3D printer was already being dreamed of, Hell, did the idea come from Star Trek, or was there somebody already working on that, and Star Trek took the inspiration from that early idea? And, you know what I mean? Like, anyway, the genesis of ideas is kind of a hard one to nail down, right? Of course, too, the other one is, which I know it's I'm pretty sure this is a debunked theory, but I've always been a fan of the 100th monkey. 100th monkey. If you're not familiar with that concept, do a quick Google search on 100th monkey. 100th monkey. As far as how an idea can cross-pollinate vast distances, and anyway, it's been a debunked idea. As far as I understand, it's been debunked. But I'm still fond of the idea that even like-minded people can come up with the same idea, kind of thing, right? Because an idea, you know, necessity is the mother of invention. So if there's a problem and we both see a problem and we both come up with a solution that are pretty darn close and similar, you know, we both came up with the idea, right? It's not like, oh, I thought of it first. No, you thought of it. No, you know what I mean? Like, you are applying logic to a problem, and you both will come up to a similar solution if you're both thinking logically about it, right? So, anyway, time we had here. Holy crap! There's only 20 minutes left of the show. Man, I got emails to get through. I got actually got quite a few here to get through. Lazy Monkey. I just hope that Marvel doesn't lead to woke hammer comics. Well, Marvel Comics is different from Marvel Studios, I do believe. They're not the same. Marvel Comics are not the same as Marvel Studios. It's two different things, as far as I understand. I could be wrong. I'm more than likely wrong, but... And as far as woke hammer, I think woke hammer has already been a thing since first edition, since Rogue Trader. Since Rogue Trader, I mean, Warhammer really was a social commentary to begin with. Warhammer 40,000 is social commentary. If you look at Rogue Trader and you look at even early second edition stuff, and you know, it was social commentary. So, you know, I don't think Wokehammer is a concern. I don't think it's a concern. It's not a concern, because Warhammer 40,000, since its inception, was social commentary. So, anyway, Critman Lab, GW need to start thinking serious money, sinking serious money into movie production. I don't think they need to sink. I think they just need to shop their ideas, right? And just find a studio and producers, and you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Like, just how people, man, even GW doesn't even have to make the script. They don't have to find anybody to write the script. They just got to let somebody who really wants to make this passion project and help them make it happen. That's all they got to do. They just, like I said, it's like Bandai. Bandai does all the legwork. All they got to do is collect the royalties. Right? That's all Games Workshop's got to do now, is just collect the royalties on this IP and just keep creating IP, which, you know, of course means that they've got to keep a tight lid on their IP, but they've been known to do that for years now anyway, so what else changes? Nothing. So, you know, why not? Lazy Monkey, teaming with Marvel could be a foot in the door towards the movie production, but if they do make movie, they need to really get the first one right and get the market hungry for more. Sure. I mean, like, something like, for example, everybody would go, oh, Horus Heresy, make the Horus Heresy. I don't think so. You don't start at the beginning. To get everybody hooked, it's like Star Wars. You don't tell the story from the very beginning. If episode 1 was the very beginning for Star Wars, Star Wars probably wouldn't have been as fantastic as what it was. You start in the middle, the exciting part. It's like a Tarantino film, for God's sake. Even Tarantino shows you in his movies. You start somewhere in the middle, or at the climax, or whatever. You get people hooked. Then you can go back and tell your longer story. So the first 40K movie, it's got to be exciting. It's got to be right in the middle of 40K, and it's just got to be something that's just going to blow people's hair back. And it doesn't have to be all-encompassing. It could be something specific. It could be just simply a story of Imperial Guard against Tyranids. I'd watch that, right? Starship Troopers. But you know what I mean? Like, something, whatever. You know, it could be just be a fun story. Who knows? Who knows? It can go anywhere. It's the imagination. Go anywhere. Ruben Matnov. Ideas are bulletproof. Let's play where the quote from. Ideas are bulletproof. I don't even know. Yes, exactly. Pea Beater. There you go. That's it. Just don't look at Ian Watson's Inquisitor novel for your social commentary. No. But the Inquisitor... Inquisitor story, a fan service of everybody. But yeah, but what would be fun to go back an idea is if Horus Heresy was done as a short film, kind of like Netflix, Amazon, kind of, you know, short series, 10 episodes, bang, and just give us, the first book. Next season is the second book. You know what I mean? But the thing is though, is both the books, oftentimes when they translate the books for screen, they often vary wildly of what the source material was. So, again, too many committees, right? So, yeah. Anyone else lose the stream? Is the stream gone? Oh, there was a spike. I had a spike. Yeah. No, YouTube's still saying I'm there. Just refresh the page. Anybody who has little spikies. Spikies? Humble Bundle. Sorry, I'm checking my email. I'm checking my email while we're doing the show. Why not, right? Cryptman Live. Well, they need to cut a lot of content to make sure it can fit into a script. Right, but if they do it as a mini-series for like Netflix or Amazon, they don't have to cut anything. Right? HBO. Horus Heresy on HBO. Just like Game of Thrones. And just go through. I mean, there is so much story in Warhammer 40,000. And even still, Games Workshop has not finished all the story because they can go anywhere with it. And they can tell any story from any side, really, because there's so many factions that can have a perspective in Warhammer 40,000, right? Because you have humans, Imperial Guard, right? And that's limitless. You can tell any story within the Imperial Guard. Space Marines. Space Marines, I've often argued, are very kind of a tough one because they're so superhuman that it's hard to identify with them because, what are their goals? They're almost alien to human standards, really. Especially like, you get into Primarchs, and all that. It's more like you're watching Greek mythology than anything, really. But you can tell stories of Eldar. You can tell stories of chaos, falling to corruption, deliberately or indeliberately, right? I mean, man, so many stories. Telling it from a Tyranid perspective, I don't know about that one. An Orc perspective, I think that would be more of a cartoon. I could see an Orc story, telling an Orc story from the perspective of Orcs. I can see it being more cartoonish than an actual, something deep with some kind of commentary and, some sort of social, relevance, right? It'd be more just comedy, I think, in that regards. Dark Eldar, yeah, you could tell stories of deception and intrigue and backstabbing and, with a little sex thrown in. Sure, why not, right? What other faction? Necrons, the way they've rewritten Necrons, telling goofy stories of crazy Necron lords. Sure. It's kind of hard to get on the side of Necrons in that regards because how do you identify with somebody who's completely insane? I mean, the only way you can completely understand somebody who's completely insane is if you are completely insane, right? So, Is there some faction I'm forgetting there? Humans is pretty much 40k. Elves, Orcs, Tyranids, Necrons. Oh, Tau. I forgot about the Tau. Tau. Yeah, Tau. You can tell Tau stories. From the perspective of Tau. It's pretty easy. They're not too dissimilar from humans. Same with Eldar. Eldar, you can tell stories from Eldar perspective. Chaos, you can tell Chaos stories. Squats. Yeah, Cryptman. Squats, you could do squats. But you're treading into dwarf type territory. You know what I mean? And that's whenever you think squats, you immediately think of fantasy dwarves, which sound, they have like a Scottish kind of accent to them, and you know what I mean. Like you don't really picture squats talking like an American, do you? Right? You don't think of them talking with like a Boston accent. Oh man, I could never watch that movie. I'm sorry, everybody from Boston. My aunt's from Boston. But the accent, oh my god. Where am I? Dark Commission at Kris. To answer the question a few months ago, yes, the Ian Watson. I have the 3 sci-fi books by IS, the same as the GW writer. Yeah, the Ian Watson book. Yeah, the Inquisitor book. Yeah, that would make a good 40K movie, as just kind of a fan service kind of one. Like even just the one to just kind of dip the toe in and just, you know, make. I think that one would be fun because it's just an adventure movie through the 40K universe. Why not? You know. Critman, I think of gnomes in World of Warcraft. All right, holy crap. It's 10 minutes left of the show, and I got emails to do. So let's do an email. If you're wearing headphones, turn them up or down, because here it comes. email time. It's email time. All right, first one is from our good buddy, Roman Matanov. Hi, Kris. Been a while since, and there's quite a few here, so we're in for a treat here with Ruman's work. Been a while since you asked for emails. It's going to be a big one. I know the pictures are not the greatest quality. White is a bitch to take a picture of with the phone. Starting with my Lord of Skulls conversion from a knight. Still need to work on the base, but pretty happy with how it turned out. Only thing I'm not sold at all. Wow, can't read that. The only thing I'm not sold on is the green flame from the Chaos icon. What color would you go with for that? It's also my first attempt at gore with Uhu glue. Love it, and will add some to the characters' pictures in the following parts as well. Would use the approach for the Night Lords as well. Ooh. Parts 2, 3, and 4, etc. to follow. As ever, comments and tips most welcome. Cheers, Roman Matnoff. Matnoff? Am I saying that right? Anyway, holy cremolies. That's really cool. Okay, hold on. Let me switch thing here. Hold on. There we go. Optimized. Yeah, white can be a bit of a pain, especially with the phone. Especially when you're just going with a single light source. And yeah, I mean, like there's a bunch of things you could do to offset that, but yeah, we'll talk about that one later on. Taking better pictures, taking better miniature pictures. But the white looks good. I like the panel lining in it and everything like that. The shoulder pads, I'm not 100% sure what's going on with the shoulder pads. It looks like flesh or something, or is it bone? It's a lot of goo. The guns look cool. It's from the I can't remember what the hell the name of the model is. Oh, the flames on the icon. Okay, I see. Now, yeah, see, you kind of I see what's going on here. I think really what you could have done, which you still can do, is the flames could be a light blue. Same shade of blue that you got going on the knight, but with a bit more white. So pushing a little bit closer to white, closer to the icon, and getting about that same shade of blue out towards the ends of the flames. Just to tie this white and blue aspect into the model, and I assume that this model is kind of like he's sided with the World Eaters, right? Which works for me. I mean, it looks really cool. At least that's the vibe I get, because it's Khorne. It's a white and blue, covered in blood. That's the aspect I get. Oof. I think you could have probably had a couple little splatters on the shoulder pad. Just minimal. Kind of like what you did on the feet, on the legs, like on the white of the legs. I think you could have did that on the carapace on his top part. Just from the shoulder pads. Just kind of like, just a little bit of a splat. Yeah, see how like you got like a dripping from the gun and just kind of running down the shoulder pad? I like that idea. That's pretty cool. Like it's vomiting blood and guts at people. I think two as well. Good English, eh? I think the idea of chipped armor on the white, like especially on the legs, you have the chipped armor. I think a little bit on the carapace as well. Just to give him that more battled kind of mucked up kind of appearance. I think for that shoulder armor, that armor that goes like right beside his head, you know, that plate where it has the corn icon on it, I think that corn icon could be a lighter color. Could be like a brighter brass or even a white. Especially in such a strong blue field. I think that icon could have been white. Very, very interesting though with the blood and guts on the shoulder pads though. That's really cool. It definitely adds a bit of a disturbing feeling to the model. I don't even know what these bits are from. What are these bits from? Don't tell me they're real bones. Because that'll just freak me out. Please, God, don't let them be from a real animal. I just threw chicken bones on my model. I'm not worried about salmonella. Yeah, I like it. I think the ends of the barrels of his multi-barreled gun there. I think it could go a little bit closer to the purple and just a little bit of black at the very, very, very tips of the gun barrels. I think you could have went just a little bit darker on towards the ends, just to get that real oxidization. I can't remember what that heat staining is. That what we call it? I can never remember what the hell that's called when we do that. Heat staining. Sorry, I'm just pulling up the second part of his email here. Let's go with this. Whoops. I mean this. There we go. I like the corn icon. I like the head. I like that. I like that as far as... What is it? Like a Bloodthirster head? It's a Bloodthirster head, eh? It kind of reminds me of like the old Lord of Battle. You know? Yeah, I think the flames could be a light blue. Similar blue to what you used here. But add a bit of white to it. Closer in towards the icon. And, yeah. Light blue. I really like the legs. I like the weathering you did on the legs. I think I'd like to see a little bit of that up on the carapace on top. Just closer towards the shoulder pads. Just to give him the idea, like, give him that look that he is, he's fighting a lot. You know what I mean? Because, like, his legs look all dinged up. And, like, a good amount. Don't get me wrong. Like, it looks like an appropriate amount of battle damage and chipping and wearing. And I kind of like this. His above carapace feels like a little bit too clean. I mean, I guess you could argue that it would logically be that way. I suppose. I don't know, but yeah. But very, very cool. Okay, we got another one here. Yeah, let's go. Let's keep going. Let's do this. Here's some characters from a WE warband, or is it WE war? Anyway, a greater possessed from the Dark Vengeance chosen, and some spawn bits. Pretty happy with the flesh to armor transition, but open for tips on that specifically. A Dark Apostle, pretty stock, also from the Dark Vengeance box. An Exalted Champion from Gore Chosen Age of Sigmar box game, and the Lord I sent earlier with some more blood splatter. So let's have a look. Oh, look at this. This is fun. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The armor to flesh transition, it looks good to me. You have that flesh transitioning into the white. That can be a bit of a challenge, I realize. I don't think there's anything wrong there. I like the transition you've got going on. Is there a close-up of that transition? Oh, this is slightly better. Yeah, I can see it on the arms, like where it looks like the white is transitioning into the flesh of the I don't know, the claw limb things. I don't know. Anyway, that looks fine to me. Nothing wrong with that. I think another idea you could have went with. It's a little bit more work. I don't know if you'd been comfortable pulling it off, but say for example, the white of the armor, it stops. It looks like it's chipped and it's become the metal, and then you transition the metal to the flesh. So it looked like the metal basically chipped and broke all the paint off, and the metal was extending out and then becomes flesh. That's another idea you could have done as well. I don't know how comfortable you would have been accomplishing that. I've shown previously flesh transitioning into metal. That's something that I can easily redo on the channel, because now that I'm independent, I can make whatever videos I want. I almost want to say I want to see more transitional depth, like color depth separation on some like the hands and the helmet. But I think in person that probably reads just fine. This is probably just because of the way the light is in the picture. That blue is so striking in your pictures. I noticed it on the Titan as well. What blue are you using for the blue on these armor? I don't know if you're here today, Rumen. Are you here today? Let me just quickly... No, I can't check comments right now. I like this. I like that you kept this consistent vibe as well. I don't, again, kind of like the icon for the Titan. I don't know if that hair tuft needed to be green. I think that hair tuft could have been a very light blue as well. Could even have been a red. But I like it. I think the blood splatter and chipping looks like an appropriate amount. It doesn't feel, you know, like there's too much. I often, you know, recommend less is more. And so, yeah, I feel like it's an appropriate amount. But yeah, what blue are you using? I'm gonna quickly jump over to the comments here for a second. Are you here today? Oh, okay, you are here. It's Gilliman blue. It's Gilliman glaze. A bajillion layers. Really? Heat scorching. Is that what we're calling it? Heat scorching? Yeah. That's Gilliman blue. I would not have guessed that. If you're going with Gilliman blue, you can probably go with that blue contrast. Talisar. You probably get a pretty close blue. This blue is fantastic, and it's a when thinned down, this looks like Gilliman blue. When you thin this down a bit with medium, this has about that same level of intensity of blue. So if you like that level of blue, you might want to try thinning this Talisar blue. Yeah, you might want to try thinning this down a bit. And it might also do a bit of work for you as well, falling to the recesses if you're looking to kind of get stuff done. But Gilliman blue, man, I would never have guessed that. That sounds, because I would never have guessed it because that sounds like a shit ton of work. And so bravo, sir, for taking that shit. Yeah, see, like I see on like the backpack. I was thinking that it was Talisar blue contrast paint, because you have dark recesses in there, and it looks kind of like what Talisar blue would give you. So you might want to try that, Roman, if you're feeling brave. Try it on a test piece, of course, first, to see if it is, like, so that you can try and maintain a bit of consistency. But otherwise, your painting looks great, man. I mean, everything looks nice and clean, despite being, you know, obviously lots of blood on the guys. But I like the fact that, you know, you're not going too heavy with it. Oh, I like the blood on his fist, like he's been punching people out. That's good. I like that his other hand is not bloody, because why would it be, right? It's his gun hand. Oh, yeah. We've looked at this one, right? Yeah, we looked at this one before. Yeah, because I was talking about how his shoulder on the Juggernaut should have, or could have been blue to match the Marine. That was the initial idea there. Did we talk about this on the show, or did we talk about this on Discord? I don't remember. Yeah, that's really good though. I like it. I like that you have the green on the axe. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The only thing you have to watch out for, obviously, is when you're laying that green. Especially, you may have noticed it when you were laying it on the axe of your Titan, is how because you have that green, and it almost looks like it's green metallic, or is it a green on top of metallic? But probably when you start throwing the red looked very dark, which actually works pretty well, especially for blood, because you when you lay more layers down, it gets a little bit more intense as it kind of sits on top of more red and gets a little bit stronger, especially the opacity of it, and so it helps. But on the outer edges of it, it probably looks pretty darn good as far as giving you a convincing bloody effect, which looks great. This next one is, here's the warband so far, as well as some chosen and berserkers you're working on. Decide to go for trim first and fill the armor route for the first time. See if it helps the sanity. And so here, here we go. Here he's showing us he's doing the metal first. So it looks like you laid it down the spray first, right? And then start laying the metals. And then start doing the white. Oh, yeah. How do we get back to this picture? Are you messing with me? I think that's a really good route. I think I've shown doing this kind of thing on other in other videos before. I think Games Workshop shown this, using this kind of technique, where basically lay the metal down first, especially with all that trim, right? Yeah, I think an idea. I don't know how well it would work for you, because I'm just thinking of this just off the top of my head, that if I was looking to speed up my process a little bit, is lay that metal down. And I don't know if I tried it when I did Gilliman. I don't think I did. But anyway, lay the metal down. Then take your opaque white, or even opaque, like Uthran gray, or even Celestra gray, if you're going to go for a bit of color depth, right? But anyway, you thin it down, make it a shade wash. So you add a bit of flow aid to it, a little bit of medium. Not thin it down to like really thin wash consistency, more like just thinner paint. Load your brush and just touch those points of the armor and let the paint reside. It might not sit perfectly on all the surface, but it should be able to get into all those corners with all that really complex trim, right? It'll just fill out that space. And then if you want, you can come in with Uthran gray or white and then fill the plate in a bit once it's completely dry. That might speed up your process a bit, and that way you don't actually have to be very careful where you're how you're applying the paint as you work around the details of the panels, right? You can just fill that panel in with a medium gray. Well, it's actually a light gray. Celestra gray is quite light. Let it just sit, and because of the flow rate, it'll creep into all the recesses, and it should define that panel for you quite easily. It might not sit 100% on the surface. Some of the underpinning of our underpainting might show through, but you can always come in with a lighter gray or white and just put it right in. Just fill that space, leaving the edges that darker gray, and that way you already get your shadows, your highlights, and you're done. And you just did 2 steps, right? That goes for everybody out there as well. I mean, if, obviously when giving out ideas like this, I'm not, saying this is just for Rumen. Just Rumen. Rumen, you're the only one who can follow this advice. You do it. I'm just checking out the comments here. Rumen. Oh, you did try it. Not the same. Oh, okay. Actually quite off. Really? Oh, because of the glaze on top of the metallic. Yeah, see, because okay, yeah, because whenever I'm looking at Talisar, it's always on top of the light. It's either the Wraithbone or the Gracier or white, and it comes back looking like that. But you're talking about laying it on top of the metallic. Okay, well, do a test model, like I said. Lay that metallic down first. Take Celestra Gray, or even, I would go with Celestra Gray just because it's a richer pigment. The base colors, the base paints tend to be a little heavier on the pigment. Turn that into like not quite a shade wash, not so thin like a shade wash, but Like you've thinned out the paint just a bit. But add that flow aid to it. You can pretty much probably just take a dollop of the paint, drop of the flow aid, and maybe just the dampness of your brush, thin the paint down, and just touch that panel, and it should just fill out the panel for you. Not so much that it's overly saturates the area, but just enough so that you can just touch, and it just goes, and it just fills in all the edges. It does the work for you, essentially, right? Because essentially that's what the contrast paints are designed on, that theory, that you do that with the paint. It's not as simple as just taking the brush and just smacking it onto the model. You still have to be deliberate with your paint. But it makes getting into nooks and crannies and stuff like that much easier. So, yeah. Would the contrast medium help? Don't have the flow aid. The contrast medium, yes, would help. Yeah, mixing contrast medium into a regular Citadel color, like a regular opaque color. Yeah. Will it have the right amount of viscosity? I've tried it on models, and it worked pretty well, but that was where I was trying it like a shade wash. So it was more like a 1 to 2, one paint to 2 medium. And, whereas I'm talking a bit closer to like a 1 to 1. You can try it. It might work for you. If you have the contrast medium, give it a try. So take something like Celestial Gray, add, try out a 1 to 1 mix, and see if that gets you to where it's not going to, like I said, it's not going to cover the broad surface of the panel. The metallic probably will still show through a bit, but what you're looking for is that more opacity around the edges of the detail paneling, so you can pretty much just loosely trace around the panel and give you your coverage. And then because you fully intend to come back in with white or a light gray and just do just the broad face of the panel, leaving that Celestial Gray along the edges where it defines it, and that should give you that look of the panel line, rather than going in with your gray or white and filling in the panel line and then hitting it with a shade wash to give you that thing. You're getting the same look, but you're going in the different direction of how you apply the color. It's all I'm talking about. Just changing directions of your procedure, essentially, is what it is. Ruben Matnoff or Vallejo Flow Improver. I've not played a lot with Flow Improver, so I cannot say whether to do the same thing. You can try. Feel free. Let me know how it works out for you. And let me know whenever I'm giving you guys, these ideas and stuff like that, let me know how they work out for you. I've tried very similar type things. I don't think I've done it with Chaos, though. I did it with Gilliman, but not so much with a Chaos model. I'm trying to think. Do I have any of the new Chaos? Yeah, I do have a few Chaos models around. I'm going to probably give it a try. Do something similar, like the metallic. Basically, try this concept on a Chaos model, right? But anyway. Ruben Matnoff just realized it's the same thing, and I do have that. Okay. Fire Drake 18. Kris, have you used the contrast paint on matte paint? I'm getting a dirty tinge. I'm using Krylon white primer. Yeah, I have found that, but we didn't really have any problems with using, because I mean, like a matte primer, like almost all primer is pretty much matte, except gloss, of course, because gloss is gloss. But because I've used like GW's white primer with the contrast, I never noticed anything weird. Just sat on the surface. So I'm not sure what what you mean by a dirty tinge. Getting a dirty tinge. Yeah, you might have to give me some specifics there. Because like, and as far as white primers are concerned, I mean, like, you don't get any more matte than Citadel white primer. That stuff, it's like it's the same level of matteness that you get from, like, paper, right? So that was a paper towel, by the way, in case anybody couldn't tell. Why I have that is so I don't look like a perspiring jerk here. That's the only reason I have that there. But anyway, So Krylon white primer, yeah. Unless of course the white primer is finishing a little heavy. I just did a video on my channel here on priming. And that works. That the way I display that pretty much goes for any spray primer. So in the video I show using Citadel primer, but that procedure goes for pretty much, that's what I do for all spray can priming. Whether it be Krylon, Rust-Oleum, name off the brand, Army Painter, Citadel. That's pretty much what I do. And, 99.9% of the time, I don't mess the model up. But mind you, though, I don't over prime. And I'm not because I know primer is just the surface for the paint to grab hold of. When you're using contrast, you do want to over prime a bit, right? You do want to get into every nook and cranny with the primer. I realize. So, yeah. It is kind of a tricky thing. It is something that you're going to have to figure out as far as how much you're laying down, But using Krylon white primer should not be a problem with contrast paints because it's just a white primer and Citadel paint is just water-based acrylics. You know what I mean? Like, these things are not formulated to interfere with each other. In fact, the atomic structures of both things are all very similar. So paint water-based acrylics are water-based acrylics as opposed to alcohol-based acrylics. You know what I mean? Like, they're different chemically, of course, but you know what I mean? Like, most water-based acrylics are all pretty much the similar way they're made. Jabba's left nut. I get a dirty tinge when spraying a Nurgling with Corax white and use Gillian. When spraying a Nurgling with Corax white and using Gilliman? Dirty tinge. I don't know what you guys mean by a dirty tinge. Yeah, Gilliman flush. I get it. But I'm not understanding what you mean. You're gonna have to send me pictures. Send me pictures of what you're talking about, because I don't understand what a dirty tinge is. And you both just said it to me, so I have to look this up now. What the hell are you talking about when you say a dirty tinge? Is this a language barrier thing? A dirty tinge. Oh God, I'm not on my browser, am I? Okay. Okay, I'm seeing a yellow tinge. So you're seeing a yellowing? Is that what you mean? You're seeing a yellowing? I got to finish these emails, but we've gone off into a thing here. Richard Ponton. Hey Kris, good morning from New Zealand. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Dark Commission. Marty of Marty's Matchbox Makeovers uses Tamiya white primer and it looks really fine and smooth. Yeah, white primer. I mean, like, using Tamiya's white primer with Citadel contrast paints? Yeah. I mean, primers are primers. I mean, yeah. Peep eater. Just don't Google dirty tape. Yeah, just don't Google dirty tape. That's what I was afraid of. As soon as I was about to hit enter, I was like, wait, yellowish or dirty tinge. I was like, oh no, what am I looking at? Oh no. Save search. I need an adult. Oh man. Anyway. Okay, I'm going to finish the Ruman's email because we can and we have to. He says, last one, just some work in progress stuff, plus a picture of the whole cabinet to share the despair from the amount of pending stuff. Yeah, I mean, we're all in the same boat, bud. That's quite the force he's got going on there. Got lots of projects on the go. If I had all my shelves set up, I could probably beat you on this one. Even my elder. Ooh, man, you got a lot of stuff going there. Oof. But yeah, you got a lot going on. But don't let it overwhelm you. And you know, just tackle it one shelf at a time, one model at a time. Don't lose hope, and just don't just don't stare at that too long. It's like the sun. Don't stare at it too long. You'll it'll become despair. Fire Drake 18. The paint is a little darker and it seems to repel the paint, so more is needed. The tinge is like a brown residue. The contrast paint I'm using is Nasdrag Yellow. Nasdrag Yellow has a brown hue. The first thing I would recommend, obviously, is making sure the paint is well shook. Where's Nasdrag? Yeah, Nasdrag. Yeah, when you look at Nasdrag, I don't even know if I can show this on camera very well, but you can see, like in the darkest points, that's very, very brown. You can see there's even a little bit of yellow. Like this, it's a yellow, but it's like dark. But yeah, always making sure, like, always check the bottom, because the sediment, it like, here, I'll show you right now, like with Apothecary White. Anybody who's got Apothecary White, you can see the color collects on the bottom. And you can see it's really dark on the top because just the way they do white paint it's a combination of white and actually black paint. But yeah, they separate really fast. And that's going to happen with any paint that is thin-bodied. And this stuff is thin-bodied. And guess what? The pigment's going to settle really fast because gravity is always pulling on paint. No paint is free from this effect. This doesn't mean Citadel's paint is shit. It's just the nature of thin-bodied paints. All like Vallejo. My Vallejos. Do I have any of my Vallejo? I don't have any of my Vallejo handy. Here. Let's go with, yeah. No, not that one. Yeah, my scale 75. Thin-bodied. The pigment all just sits. It's been sitting on its side, of course, but yeah. But anyway. But you just give it like, I find with the white or any of these colors, some of the colors that have like a white in them, like for example, Minitarum green, the pigment sits on the bottom. That's perfectly normal. You just give it a really good shake it for a good couple minutes. I often will shake them upside down like this, while maintaining pressure on the lid, of course, just so it doesn't pop and fly off. But you just give it a really good shake, and you'll see, yeah, it starts to free up. Same with the white. You see now it's starting to break up. Do you need an agitator? I don't know if an agitator will help much with this. If you want to try an agitator, I definitely would recommend, like a glass bead. Try something like a glass, something that's very, very neutral, that is not going to transfer any color. Don't get colored glass beads. Anywhere from 3 to 5 millimeter should be fine. You know what? I think maybe a glass bead would help. But yeah, I mean, like, I just shook these for just a couple seconds here, and you can see the pigment starts to move. But I mean, when you're going to use these, just make sure you shake them really well. That's all. And same with the Nasdrag. The Nasdrag, I think it does settle. You can see it does get, because your first indicator is that you can't see any bubbles. If you can't see bubbles through the bottom, that means the pigment is collecting on the bottom. Some of the colors, it doesn't seem that way. Like the blue. The blue, yeah, you can see right through it, and you can see the bubbles when you shake it. So whatever that color is, it doesn't need this other binder in it that, makes it opaque. But yeah. It's a little ASMR for everybody. Just close your eyes. Don't look at the screen. When I've had too much to drink, that's what it sounds like in my belly. But yeah. See, now that I shook it, yeah, I can see the bubbles. See, you couldn't see that before. Rewind this clip up a bit, and you'll see you couldn't see that before. But now you can, because the sediment is building on the bottom. This has got to be shaken very well. All the paints, all this, it's good. It's just good practice with all of your paints, no matter what brand name it is. Shake them really well. Just shake them, right? So anyway, sorry. So I got onto that. Yeah, you said it was brown residue. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Dirty water. I've seen the dirty tinge is dirty water. It's possible. Ruben Matnoff, thanks, Kris, for all the tips, and we'll definitely give it a try and share. Yeah, please let me know how that works out for you. It might be something that just helps speed up your process just a bit. So, Ruben Matnoff, episode 268. Give it a good shake and see it starts to come. Darker Mission, if we all up our Patreon levels, you'll be able to afford that paint fluffer you wanted. Some sort of fluffer anyway, right? Anyway, Fire Drake 18, I'll try shaking it more. I switched from Armory and GW, and it feels and looks different. The primer? Yeah. Sounds like you're making macaroni. I've not tried Armory. I've used a lot of GW spray. I've used a lot of Krylon. I've used Rust-Oleum. As far as the primers, Army Painter. I've used a ton of Army Painter. Yeah, but as far as with the contrast though, I've only used the Citadel. I've used like Zemeshi Desert, Wraithbone, Greyseer, White. We've even tried it on top. We've even tried it on top of Stino Res airbrushed primer. Nothing from any of those primers led me to believe that it would be any different on Krylon, Rust-Oleum, any other primer. Primer pretty much is primers. So, yeah. G squared and down the tubes we go. Yeah. Well, always. We'll always go down the gutter, man. We'll always. Sir Peanut Butter, my Turbo Dork paints like to separate if you take your eyes off them. Yeah. And I think Greg has been reworking his formula for Turbo Dorks. I don't know if he's already started selling basically it's a redo of the classic colors. I'm pretty sure, I haven't gotten into a long discussion with him about it, but I'm pretty sure there's a bit more body to the paints so that they flow a little bit better, because I think he initially was designing them for airbrush use and I don't think he really counted on a lot of bristle brush painters wanting to use those colors. Understandably, I mean, they're really fantastic shades, right? That are not widely available, and so yeah, you want to use them. But there are, I think, like 90% of the population is mostly bristle brush, right? With very few airbrush people out there. There's not a lot of airbrush people out there because again, it's a whole other bag to get into airbrushing. So if you're a bristle brush painter and you're still learning to paint and you're still wanting to get better at miniature painting, stick with bristle brush. I mean, if you want to add, another dimension to your work, get an airbrush, by all means. There's no negatives to it. It's just you're gonna add more work because now you're gonna have to learn how to take care of your airbrush. You're gonna have to, learn different techniques, learn different things. There's different troubleshooting, and you're adding more, more things to your bag than you really need to. I mean, if you are just happy to just sit down and just do your miniatures and, then just stick with that, I mean, like, you don't have to get an airbrush. But I mean, if you got a lot of projects, and your shelves are just surrounded in miniatures and, you're like still hand priming, you might want to get, but I mean, if you game, that's when you really want to get your stuff painted. But if you don't game and this is your happy time and this is just you zoning out and just, listen to a podcast and working on your models, then by all means, just stick with that. Don't be in a rush. It's really just, it's all situation. It's all, everybody's different, and, it's not one solution for everybody. It never is. never is. There's no one solution for everybody. As far as I know, anyway. Anywho, we got to do another email. Well, we don't got to do, but we are going to do another email. Let's do another email. This one is from Kris. Snidely's Workshop. I've heard of this name, Snidely's Workshop. Anywho, hey Kris, congratulations on being unleashed. I don't know if congratulations is in order. I think it's just, but okay. We'll say congratulations. Anyway, I just finished a terrain piece from Pegasus Hobbies, and I wonder if you could give any tips on paint or ideas of areas of improvement. Thanks, Kris, Snidely's Workshop. I think he has done commission work for Mini Wargaming. I think that's what's going on here. So this is Pegasus Hobbies. Anyway. Let's have a peek. So it looks like he's mounted it to MDF. Good call. I don't know if the base needs to be as far away from the building as it is. I think about big enough to accommodate a model's base. And I'm pretty sure these buildings are pretty big. I love all the texture on the base. I love the variation in flocking material. At least I think it's flocking material. I like the vines. I really like the vines. And the foliage. It feels very lush. I like the color choice in the building. It plays really fun with the with all the color and texture. It's vibrant. As far as anything painting wise is concerned, I think maybe the red could have been a little bit more subdued. Oh, maybe that's why it's on such a large base. It's 2 buildings. I thought it was only 1. Or is this a different model? No, it's the same model, I think. Anyway. Yeah, like a big piece like this, I don't know if I would have done it all on one base without something being in that middle. I probably would have done it just as a little L shape. Just wide enough to accommodate a model. Like from the wall of the building. I would have made the base come out from the wall big enough to accommodate a model. The inside, I probably wouldn't have done it like so. The base would have the footprint would have matched the model, so it being kind of L-shaped. I don't know if I'd have done it this big and not had anything in the center because there's nothing there. It's just wide open. Something could have been there. Or even the impression of the floor, or, something like along those lines, right? But otherwise, really fun. I think the red, because, this has the impression of being like a ruin from, ages long ago, and, vegetation is retaking over, which I really like that idea. I like that. I like the vines. That just creates so much dimension to because I know I'm familiar with these Pegasus, these kits, and they're just straight up, Gothic architecture. It's just ruins, and they're pretty boring, really. And I like that you've given it some life here. The red, I don't know if it needed to be that vibrant. I like the browns, but I think the red could have been a little bit more subdued and a little bit more like kind of weathering. As far as like the growth of the vines and such, and just like I can see like on some of the pillars here where you got the dry brushing, it subdues the red a bit, and I think I'd like just like see a little bit more of that. Just knock a bit of that red down, just because it feels like it's conflicting with the green of the vines. But I really like the vines. I like that. It's this wire, and you just kind of wrapped it around. That's the way it looks to me. I think the vines too could have been maybe a tinge less green, a little bit more towards the brown side of things, possibly. But I like the foliage. I like the vine. The vine idea is really fantastic. Yeah, see here the red doesn't seem quite as bright. And maybe it's just the way you took the picture. Because here I like that level of red. It feels a lot more subdued. I like the gray in the brick, and I like the brown of the pillars. I like that we got all this different color variation going on. I like this shot here. I like this piece. I really like this piece. Yeah, I really like this. I think the tall grass tufts. I think you could have come in with some little scissors and just, I mean, you still can, and just kind of vary the length so they don't feel so all even. It just doesn't look like a little horsetail stuck right into the ground. Kind of like the one tuft I see in the lower right, closest to the gray rock there. How it looks like there's a little bit of variation on the ends. It just feels a little bit more natural rather than just kind of they got a haircut kind of thing. You can still come in with some small scissors and just kind of give it a little bit of a haircut, just kind of randomize the end a bit, just so it doesn't feel so uniform. It feels a little bit more natural. I think when looking at vines of this kind of nature, drawing your inspiration, if you've seen vines growing on brick, oftentimes you have some color staining where the vines kind of just discolor the pavement and the ground, and you can actually have a bit of like a moss discoloration running down from the vine, where you have, the vine is growing and it's grabbing into the rock, and then it slowly rots and it comes back and the bark changes, and you just get all sorts of discoloration where the vines grow on the surface. And so that might be something, if you're looking to push the feeling of a realism there. If you're not too worried about it, then what you've done here is great. I like it. Like from this picture here alone, I like this. It just, because the red feels very vibrant, and I'm not 100% behind that. It feels a little too vibrant. Whereas here, it's a lot more subdued. I'm looking at like the bottom row and even the top row of the closest building, and the red tones are just not that bright, and I like that. It gives that impression of a very aged, but at the time it was a very colorful building, which obviously nothing wrong with. Just over time you've given it that impression that it's aged, and so it's really, really cool, Kris. Thank you for the email, and yeah, really nice stuff. Really, really cool. Really quick here. What time? Holy shit! It's 2:30. Good God. Good God, man. Just really quickly looking here. Richard Ponton, do you have a Basics of Airbrush series, Kris? I've recently got one, and it's a steep learning curve. Yes, it is. Do I have one? No, not yet. I will be making more airbrushing specific tutorials. It really, I guess it depends. I can say yes, I will, but if I'm not able to make ends meet, as it were, through Patreon, then the series might never get finished or done or what have you. But yeah, because now that I'm independent, if people really want tutorials, and then I need support. So yeah. But definitely, it's yes, airbrushing, basics of airbrushing, and airbrushing videos, definitely. I do have a bunch of in my channel already. There are a bunch of videos I have going through and working with my airbrush, and I've gone through some videos, I think, of talking of cleaning and stuff like that. So you might be able to pull some information out there. If you're looking to really kind of get some good airbrushing information and advice, I definitely would look at YouTube videos and from airbrush artists who work with the airbrush as a tool, as it is supposed to be, which is illustration artists and people who are doing auto body and stuff like that. Those are the people you should really be listening to, because they have the most experience in this, using this tool. Other wargamers, we don't use it the way, we just use it like a spray gun. That's all. Whereas illustration artists are using it like an airbrush, a proper brush. Those are the people that you should really be listening to in that regards. Dark Commission, I love the piece at least as much as the figures. I like that piece. Nicely done. Yes, I like that. The terrain piece, it looks fantastic. I love the incorporation of the vines. That kit is from Pegasus Hobbies. If you're not familiar with Pegasus Hobbies, they do some fantastic models. And they had that Gothic architecture piece. It's been around probably like 15 years at least. And it's just one of those staples in wargaming. You'll see that kit a lot, especially in a lot of hobby stores and stuff. They'll have that kit. And it's pretty generic. It's just Gothic architecture and just all broken, and I like that he's livened it up. I like his color choice as well, that he went with browns and terracotta, and you know what I mean? Like, I like those color choices. I like it when people just do stuff outside the norm. I like when, instead of just slapping frickin' black and then dry brushing gray. God, that's so boring. I'm going to be so boring for. I like that Kris went for it and went with different colors for that. And that's bravo. Bravo. Fire Drake 18, thanks for the help. My cousin and I are getting into some more core space this afternoon. Cool. Awesome. Nathaniel, hi Kris and fellow monk guy. Am I too late? Yeah, I should be done the show like 40 minutes ago. But I'm still doing emails because, I can. And I'm pretty sure this email was, it's an older one. So yeah, got to get this done. Got to get them done. And yeah, I got to hurry up and get this. I got to hurry up and wrap up here because, got shit to do. This is from Scott. Did this week up. You did this up last week. You challenged me to try and tell more of a story with my mini painting. I had submitted an Ambot a couple weeks ago. I didn't know that I did really capture much of the story with the piece. So my question is, what would you do brush-wise to learn to turn this into more character-y piece? What could you do more brush-wise to do more of a character piece? What could you do brush-wise to turn this into more character? I'm not sure I understand that. Anyway, okay. Kind of stuck on it. Yeah, I'm getting stuck on the question. I abandoned some weathering because I tried it in the spots around the nose and it looked a little off scale to me. Thanks for any help. Keep up the good work, Scott. And so let's have a look at the piece. Okay. So, this is really, really small. Capturing the character, I like, this is a really small piece. And, some weathering, some streaks, but the way you've highlighted stuff, it kind of has that impression I see on the gray and stuff like that. There is not a lot of room here to look at a lot of detailed weathering and character. These pieces just don't really allow for it. And so what you've done here already is really fantastic. So, it's really kind of canvas dependent as far as how far you look at character and how much time you want to spend on exploring character on a piece. So, as far as like the canopy is concerned, I've seen a few where they're going for this very minimal like highlighting scheme in the glass to create that impression of the glass. I think that's a lot of fun. The leading edges of like the yellow tones, the kind of a bone color. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Again, with the size of the piece, because again, if you're gaming with this and you start getting really heavy into weathering at arm's length, it's going to look messy. And it's not going to look very good. It's only going to look good when you have it blown up on your screen like this. And so when you are painting miniatures, first and foremost, what is this for? Are you painting this for the eye, the camera, are you painting it for gaming? Like, that is real, because I mean, like, what you've done here looks really great. You even have like the checker marks on the wings. I mean, that looks fantastic. And I can imagine how this looks at arm's length, and this probably looks really freaking great. You have a ton of color depth going on in here. I'm even seeing some careful picking out of the bolts. Your canvas here is, you're not like, without spending a whole lot of time on, you know, the very minute details and going for that really subtle weathering. To the camera, it's going to look fantastic. To the human eye, it's going to, because of this so small, you know, I'm not 100% sure on what you're looking to do here. And I mean, as far as brush wise, I mean, if you're able to accomplish that checker pattern on that wing, I mean, obviously, even from your previous examples, your brush control is really fantastic. So, I mean, I'm not sure exactly, like, are you painting this for a competition? Or are you painting this for gaming? Are you painting this to further brush control? Because, I mean, being able to paint checker pattern that small on those wings, you have really great brush control. So I'm not sure where you're going. I mean, if you're wanting to display your work, I mean, that's more than welcome, of course. I mean, it's fantastic. Yeah. As far as exploring the character, I mean, yeah, you can create some weathering. It'll look fantastic in photos, but if you're painting this for gaming, yeah, it's going to look a mess. There are two different standards when painting miniatures: painting for the camera, painting for the eye. The eye is much more forgiving, and this probably looks fantastic to the eye, and it looks fantastic to the camera. I'm not 100% sure on what more you're wanting. Yeah, like, as far like exploring the character of a plane, I guess, is really what the question is, right? Is that the question we're asking then? Exploring the character of a plane. How do you explore the character of the plane? Well, exploring the character of an orc plane. Well, it would be damaged, it'd be dingy. It would be made from different armor plates. It would have many different colors going on. It would be quite chaotic looking, right? It would not be uniform. And the way this plane is painted up is very uniform. So, would that, you know, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different directions you go when you really start to explore character. And you kind of have to just break it down, you know? Yeah. Oh, Snidely6666. Hello, Kris. Kris from Snidely's Workshop. Thanks for getting to my email, and thanks for the tips. No problem. Thank you for sending the email. Dark Commission. I like that. Great painting. Yeah, it's the painting is fantastic. But I mean, the more weathering you get, the further you get into the details of painting something that small and painting it to scale, like you want to represent that as something small, and you get into a lot of weathering. Yeah, at arm's length, and you're looking at that model, it's going to look like a mess. It's going to be just a hodgepodge of color and details and things like that. It's only going to look really good when you photograph it, because then you can blow it up to a larger size and see all the detail and all the work. So really, are you painting it for the tabletop, or are you painting it for display? If you're going to continue to paint it for display, then obviously, yeah, you're going to want to do a little bit more weathering. And, you know, if you're able to control your brush to do fine checkers like that, I'm sure you have the skill set to create chipping and the carbon, the air streaks, you know, the streaking you get from moving through the air. Different panels You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to explore the character of the orc vehicle, well, then look at orc vehicles. They're often a hodgepodge of colors, and they're not really uniform. Unless, of course, it's a blood axe. Then it's a blood axe. Then it's, it might be, because they imitate humans, right? So, again, it's, painting the clan markings. The evil suns, if they have like those little streaky lines, or bad moons, painting a bad moon, doing clan symbols on the plane, on the wings of the plane, doing the glyphs, painting the orc glyphs, right? All these things explore character. You obviously have really great brush control, so I'm not sure exactly where you're having your problem. I mean, other than exploring the character of the plane, but I mean, it can be just as simple as what you see in the 40K scale, translating that to the Aeronautica. Look at the example from 40K. Paint that in that scale. That will be very cool. Make it indistinguishable from the scale model. That's the goal of scale modelers, right? You take an actual tank from the Second World War and paint it to look and look like it's there, so that when you photograph it, you cannot distinguish, right? That's the whole goal of scale modeling. And if that's where your goals are, then get into scale modeling. Snidely. I'll have to revisit the project and work on some more weathering. Yeah, I mean, it all depends. I mean, like, how far do you want to push the realism, right? How far, again, even with the Aeronautica piece, how far do you want to push? Is it for gaming? Is it just for or is it for display? Is it, what I mean? Like, how far do we push things? It's kind of like when we go down these rabbit holes and when we're, searching up stuff. How far do you go? When you're exploring character, how far down that rabbit hole do you go? When you want to push realism, how far down that rabbit hole do you want to go? It's a tough one. I fall in it all the time. I fall down rabbit holes all the time. So, understandable. And then that might, again, when we're looking for an idea and we want to be something perfect, perfection is not a realistic goal. So when we want it to be perfect, that's a rabbit hole in itself that we start to fall down. And you know what I mean? Like, you're going for an unrealistic goal. Because it's fantasy. It's not something tangible. It's not, it's not real. And, it's completely subjective. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I can see that terrain piece and say it's wonderful. I could nitpick, but I mean, I'm nitpicking from the standpoint of that's something that I would have done. What you have done was spot on. Somebody else looks at it and goes, I would never have dreamed of doing that. I would never have dreamed of using those colors. I would have done that. That is perfect. And from my standpoint, I'm going, well, maybe you could have went with this. Maybe you could have went with that. You know what I mean? Just my opinion, man. It's just my opinion. And same with the Aeronautica plane. I mean, yeah, you can go this route. You can go that route. And if you went to a competition, that piece could earn yourself a gold. Could earn yourself not even a mention. It's all up to the judges and what they determine. It's completely subjective. So, at what point are you happy with your effort? I guess that's the big question. At what point are you happy with your effort? If your goal is perfection, which is an unrealistic goal, because perfection is unattainable in any aspect of reality in our lives, who are looking for the perfect meal, the perfect diet, perfect mate, perfect child, perfect job. These are all, why would we even think of that? It's not a real, it's unattainable. It's not attainable. So, don't beat yourself up over these things. You know? Yeah. Nick Dumont. Whoa, still going. Thought I missed it when I got drafted to paint a truck. Nathaniel, weathering on this scale, possible, but one has to be very precise. You did a 1/100 scale helo. Send me emails. Send it. You know? Yeah. Snidely, it's my first time doing terrain at this depth, so I want to push my skills as far as I can. Yeah, and now, maybe every hour tells me, you know what, you're streaming. Maybe, but you know what, though? This isn't as bad as what it was weeks ago. Oof, thank God. But yeah, so anyway, am I done emails? No, I've got one more. Jeez Louise. We got one more to do. One more email. This one is from Divine Edric. Here we go. Jason. Hello, Kris. Back on your mini wargaming streams, I showed you some gargoyles I had been working on and experimenting with. Was that on the other stream? Was it? I thought it was this one. But anyway, I've got them together out of sub-assembly, and I just need to fix the joints and apply some touch-ups, especially on some areas I see in these photos. Things got a little frustrating towards the end. My migraines have been really bad lately, and all my detail brushes, including a brand new one, seem to have developed nasty splits. But I got some new brushes in, and as soon as I can, I'll be posting finished work. These photos were taken by my brother. I personally think he's really good. You can see some of the dust that had built up while I'd been unable to work. Thank you, Jason Divine Edric. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that last name. Is that Corolla? Is it Corolla? Anyway, let's have a look at these models. I don't know if we've ever shown these models on this program, but apparently we were looking at them on Painting Auxilium. So anybody who was following that was familiar with the build-up for here, but I do recall these. I like the highlighting on the carapace. I really like the color transitions going on the nice and close. I think if we had a little bit of diffusion on the flash or the light source, would help out a little bit, but not a huge issue. Yes, we were talking about the veins, I recall, last time. I really liked you were doing the transitions in the membranes. Yeah, because I think it was last time we were talking a little bit of subtlety in the transitions and or a little bit of subtlety in the veins, not such harsh, dark veins like that. A little bit more subdued. I like the little gem effect you're doing in the eyeballs. I like that. That's cool. I don't think we talked about that last time or shown that. The light is really harsh, so yeah, it does cast some of the deeper tones, makes them a little bit more flattened. Something to be mindful of when you're taking pictures is just using a diffused light. Not a huge issue though. I do really like the transition of that orangish and against the blue of the carapace. I do like that. That is very cool. Are you going to do veins on the upper portion of the membranes? Is that it? Oh, that was it. We got through all the pictures. Nice and clean. I like the transitions you got going on. I like where you're going. I think my only critique was at the time was the veins. I think the veins could be a little more subtler. Yeah, but it looks like you got really great control with the eyes, the highlights on the carapace. I like that texture going on. I think it all looks really fantastic. Yeah. I think just a little just the veins don't have to go run the whole length of the membrane. I think the veins can come either from the in between or they can come from the ends. I think coming from the in-between helps, and it also helps because you got brighter on the outer edges of the membrane, and it gets a little deeper in towards where, you know, they meet up with the joints. So I think that'd be kind of cool. Do you need to do them on the upper part of the membranes? I don't know. It's up to you, I suppose. Again, if you make it a little more subtle, thin the color down a little bit. Don't go so bright. In fact, I'd probably add, if I was going to do them on this color and this color scheme, and so that it felt, you know, kind of appropriate, I think I would go with, I'd probably go with almost like a purple. A light purple with a bit of this orange mixed in. So it wasn't so bright, and then just do very, very thin. Just like, almost like a Y shape. Just a little, you know what I mean? Like create a little Y, comes down to one trunk and just comes in at about halfway on the membrane, or even less than half. And just runs in towards, in between each of the little joints, digits, whatever it's called. But yeah, so very cool. Oh, Divine Editor, yeah, you are here. It's Italian. I know. And you know what? I'm from up north in Sault Ste. Marie, where we have a large Italian population. And you'd think I'd be used to saying Italian-sounding last names. Zaracola? Zaracola? I'm stopping right there. I'm stopping. I'm not going any further. But yes, so thank you, Jason, for sending that in. Awesome stuff. I hope you keep us up to date with your work. Obviously, this is where you're going to send your emails now. So if you want to keep posting and sharing your work, please do. I do welcome it. And of course, that goes for everybody. You want to send your, need help with your paint scheme. You want help with a particular technique. You just want to show off what you're working on. Send your questions to Kris at Questions. So I know that there are people at varying levels in this hobby. I know there's people brand new who have no clue as to what the hell's going on. Feel free to ask your questions. And I know there's more experienced people out there who want help. And, you know, like the Scott, you know, wants to know if you can, where to push the ideas further. And I know it's a rabbit hole. I know that, you know, you can just, you know, Scott, I don't know. Do you compete? Because I think where you're at, maybe you want to start competing. I don't know. I don't know if that's your aspirations. I don't know, like, where you want to go with your painting, what you're doing. You know, fill me in on a bit more of who you are, bud. You know, feel free to share. Maybe you want to just share it privately. Feel free. It doesn't have to always be on the Way of the Brush. I talk with people all the time privately about other projects and what they're doing. I'm more than willing to help. Whatever I can offer. So I'm more than willing. So anywho, so yeah, send it to Kris@wayofthebrush.com. Send your questions. The email is in the description, as well as a link to wayofthebrush.com. Central hub of all this silliness, has links to all social media, as well as t-shirts. Want to help support the cause? Look like a connoisseur of all that's good and holy in this world. They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And of course, if you purchase yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt, and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine, which is also at wayofthebrush.com, because, you know, I like sharing, and sometimes it's not kind of nice to put a face to the name or a name to the face, whichever one it is. Of course, on wayofthebrush.com also has links for Patreon support. I'm independent these days, so you want to help support the channel and, you know, help me continue to make the tutorials that I was doing, and, you know, make them widely available. As before, they were behind a paywall, but I'm more than willing to share the information that I helped create and help put there and help build, but I can also help build and create a very public library for all you guys, and all it takes is a little bit of help. So Patreon support, huge thank you. Early access to the painting tutorials. I've been putting up tutorials every Tuesday and Thursday, as well as other videos. To battle reports will be coming. That is one of the goals. If I can continue to make this work, more and more videos will be available. Painting videos, tutorials, bat reps, as well as other goofier type things, as well as doing this show, which is all just about helping you guys. So with your support, I can just continue to help and create. And so I think it's a win-win kind of situation. What else? Patreon support. Oh, if you're not able to help support monetarily, you can also click that like, subscribe, follow, and share. Share is a big one. Commenting, all that. That all helps, and that's all it takes is a couple clicks. And it helps me out a great deal. So, there's also that as well. Of course, we always follow up with thanking Carl, a.k.a. Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube. Guy Mural for... If you like yourself some beer and you like yourself some Blood Bowl, check out Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out. We always say thank you to Carl for taking the time out of his busy day to create the email jingle that plays before the email segment of the show. And so, huge thank you. Always to Carl. Thank you. Is that it? That was the ending of the show, right? That's my usual thing. Crap, ran 3 hours today. Jeez Louise, I did not mean to run that long because I'm going to go see a movie. What movie, you might ask? I'm going to go see Joker. And yeah, so I'm going to go see that. Sorry, I'm just cleaning up my emails here because I got through all my emails. So now I'm all clear. The docket is clear. So keep those emails coming in. If you want to... Yeah, Carl from Beer and Blood Bowl. I did say Beer and Blood Bowl. I said thank you, Carl. Me love Carl long time. Okay, so I'm getting the hell out of here. Take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you, and I will see you guys next week. Next week? Yeah, next week. No. Wait, what's next week? Hold on. Because I'm heading out of town, and I'm not going to be doing Away the Brush because I'm heading up north. What's today? The 5th? The 12th? Yeah, so there won't be a show next Saturday. And possibly the following Saturday. Or no, I'm coming back the Friday. I can't remember. But yeah, there won't be a show which is the 12th. Yeah, there won't be a show because I am leaving out of town. Unless, of course, I do one while I'm up north. But that doesn't seem very like I wouldn't hold my breath on that one. So, yeah. Later? So, yeah, just a heads up, folks. All right. Take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you, and I will see you guys next week. No, I won't see you guys next week. Fuck, I just said that. All right, I'm getting the hell out of here. I need to lunch. I need to eat. I'm getting I'm perspiring.